saw it.
Welcome back to Lansdowne Park in Ottawa. It's been a beautiful summer day in the nation's capital, and it's a hot evening. The temperature 30 degrees. The wind should not be a factor. The referee for tonight's game, George Black, he and the other members of the officiating staff moving into position to get this game underway as the Ottawa Rough Riders prepare to kick off to the Edmonton Eskimos. Dean Dorsey will perform that chore for the Ottawa Rough Riders, and Henry Williams and Darrell Colbert will be back to return. And for Dean Dorsey, Ron, becomes a decision. Which one do you kick the ball to?
I'd be almost tempted to kick it on the ground and have it roll around, look, you know, so they can't get it in the air and get that thing set up, because it doesn't matter which one you kick to, they're both dangerous.
The Giz wears number 2, Colbert number 76. They are both positioned at about the 12-yard line. There's the signal from referee George Black, and the ball will go to the Gizmo, starting from the 10. Penalty flag on the play as Orville Lee makes the tackle at the 33-yard line. Penalty flag in the vicinity of the 35-yard line. And the call could be going against the Edmonton Eskimos.
Illegal block. Edmonton, number 30. First down.
Danny Bass guilty of that illegal block. That will take the ball back to the 15-yard line. And that's where Tracy Ham will engineer the first series for the Eskimos.
We'll talk about Tracy Ham more and more the entire football game. He's really starting to improve. Have a chance to talk to him in the airport, talk to Coach Faragelli about him. Boy, he stayed there last winter, did a lot of studying. He's starting to understand defenses, and when he does that, someone's in trouble.
One of the big things about Tracy Ham this year as compared to last is that they say he is beginning to read on his way back to set up. So as a result, he gets that ball away much quicker. And under that pressure, he had to get it away, but he finds Keith Wright for very close to a first down. Let's see where they really went out. They spot the ball at the 24-yard line.
That was a dangerous pass to throw. He was well covered. Daniel Hunter had him covered, but Keith Wright has got speed. They started him deep and then curled him to the inside and found him. If Wright's not open to wide, they're going to look to Ellis inside, and if you're not careful, Reggie Taylor will run for a bunch. That's a pretty good combination when you have an outside, an inside, and a running back that can do the job.
Not only you have to worry about Reggie Taylor running for a bunch, you have to worry about the quarterback running for a bunch. And this is Blake Marshall getting the first down. Brett Young came up from his halfback position to make the tackle. It's interesting that with the Edmonton Eskimos, they use Blake Marshall, Chris Johnson, and Michael Souls alternating on their own at that blocking back position.
Well, let's see. This is the team that has to stop. Greg Stuman's the leading sacker. We know he's an excellent pass rusher. Bruce Holmes is the leading tackler, and Scott Flagel at safety. He's going to have to be careful. He's a gambler, and if he gambles at the wrong time, we'll see Wright go right by him.
The Rough Riders feel they have to be very disciplined on defense if they're going to stop the Eskimos. Reg Taylor right at the line of scrimmage, driven back. Patrick Wayne came up along with Pat Miller to make the tackle.
That's a good job by the outside linebacker, Pat Wayne. He forces it back inside, and that's where your help should come from. You'll get a lot of help by them coming down the line of scrimmage, and that's very well played defensively.
That defense limited the gain to 2 yards. It will be 2nd and 8 for the Edmonton Eskimos. The ball just shy of the 30-yard line. The Eskimos, winners of their first 2 on the road against Toronto and at home last week against the BC Lions. Ham out into the flat. Keith Wright unable to make the catch. He was hit by Daniel Hunter. Had he been able to squeeze that ball when he came down, I think he would have been out of bounds anyway.
Well, he had the coverage you want as a quarterback. You got one-on-one. Keith Wright on Daniel Hunter. You saw the blitz coming from the linebackers. It was picked up, ham steps and throws. Bring it to the sideline. He just didn't hold the football. It was a very well thrown ball, but just didn't hold on.
Ray McElready stands back to punt from the 15-yard line. Just one man back to receive. That is Stacey Dawsey. Pressure up the middle. They block it. Loose ball, and the Edmonton Eskimos recover, but they don't gain the necessary yards. Derek White got through to block that third down punt by Ray McElready.
And got there in a hurry. We knew that Edmonton would probably try to come after Ottawa, but Ottawa wasted no time, got the good, hard, solid pass rush. And as you mentioned, 31 Derek White coming from the outside. He blocked it before it ever got to the foot.
Derek White will come from the left side, number 31.
You see 29 going up the middle. That forces them to block him, and when you block him, that opens that outside for Derek White, and he got there and did the job. McGowan eats up the block, and he blocks it.
Here comes the blitz. Penalty flags on the play. The pass is incomplete. David Conrad was in the clear, but he started to turn upfield before he had the ball into possession. There was a penalty flag on the play. Offside, Edmonton. They were showing blitz, and they were a little too anxious to go after a former teammate, Damon Allen, now the quarterback of the Ottawa Rough Riders.
Yeah, they're going to go after him tonight. They're going to put the pressure on him. They haven't shown the real Edmonton pressure defense, and this is the night they want to unveil it.
Number 89. First down repeated.
So it will be first and 5. The ball now positioned between the 18 and 19. David Williams is out of the Ottawa lineup. Here's Barnes down to the 2-yard line.
Well, they showed that blitz again with the linebacker coming into the middle, and they run off tackle outside of the backer. And when the offensive line did a good job on the left side of Rob Smith and Gerald Roper to the left side, you see the linebackers coming inside. Good job by Roper. Coming around the corner as Ellerbron makes his block, and then once Reginald Barnes gets rolling at 210 pounds and 5'9", he's hard to bring down. Big hole.
Talking to Ken Hobart, he told us before the game he was concerned at training camp that with Tony Cherry signed to a contract, they might cut Barnes, but he said he was very impressed with the way Barnes ran during training camp. Fumble, and on a bad exchange, the Edmonton Eskimos have recovered. Larry Ruck comes up with the ball at the 2-yard line. Larry Ruck, a graduate of the Saskatoon Hilltop Junior Football Program, coming up with that fumble recovery on the 2. And against the Eskimos, you can ill afford to self-destruct.
No, you don't do that. When you get down inside, you have to score, number one, but never make mistakes against a team that's supposedly better than you. You saw the handoff from Damon Allen a little bit high, hit him up on the front of the shoulder pads. The quarterback's responsibility is put the ball on the belt buckle and not fumble. Like, I blame quarterbacks for fumbles because that's the way I was taught. That handoff was a little too high.
Larry Ruck, according to the Edmonton coaches, is having an outstanding start to this 1990 season. As a matter of fact, Don Southern told us he doubts if there is an import who could play that linebacking position as well as Ruck is playing it for the Eskimos.
And the best way to look at it is when you hear Danny Bass last week after the game against BC talking about the way they communicate on the field. When you play together for a few years like they have, it becomes second nature. You know what to do in every situation, and it makes you better as a team.
First and 10 Edmonton. They are just outside their own 2-yard line. Fake inside to Taylor, and a deep throw for Williams. He could not hang on. Young may have just deflected that ball. Williams had maneuvered in behind him, and Tracy Am was going for the whole bunch right there.
They say Craig Ellis underneath and brought Keith Wright underneath the safety man Flagel. Flagel held for just a second. That allowed Gizmo to get behind him, and Tracy Ham throws. He put the ball in the air about 60 yards. They were very fortunate Gizmo didn't catch it and was gone.
Second and 10. Ham under pressure. He throws it away, they're going to call him for intentionally grounding. That will be a safety touch. They call him for intentionally grounding the ball. He was under pressure. He was going to be dropped for 2 in the end zone. He threw it away. It drew a penalty flag.
Intentional grounding. Edmonton number 8, safety touch score.
They brought Scott Flagel on a safety blitz. Tracy Ham saw him coming, and he turned to his right to escape, and when he did, 35 Pat Wayne was there and just dropped him. That's a good defense. See, watch, the blitz will come from the right. And he sees the blitz. Now he's going to escape, but look. You've got to get out of the way. That's the hard thing is when you turn, there's a guy in your face. Now you're nothing you can do about it.
And not only do the Edmonton Eskimos give up the 2 points, but they also give up the football as they will be kicking off.
That's a dangerous thing what Tracy Ham did. If you throw the football just to get rid of it, which he couldn't have seen a receiver if there was one there, he just threw it. Someone intercepts that, it's a touchdown instead of 2. Don't, he'll learn about that. Don't do it. Take the 2. You're already hit. There's nothing you can do about it.
Patrick Wayne was all over Tracy Ham, a number 2 draft choice of the Ottawa Rough Riders in 1987, who has really come into his own this year.
We got the chance to play a lot last year, and it was a tough year. They were on the field a lot, and you're going to get better the more you're out there. Now he's got some people that up front are good. He can now use his own ability to even get better.
Last year, Marco Sinkar began handling the kickoffs for the Eskimos, and he's continuing to do it. That ball looked as though it was going to bounce out of bounds. It stayed in, and Stacey Dawsey is down at the 10-yard line. He was anticipating that ball was going to bounce out of bounds. It stayed in and rolled for about another 10.
I even thought it was going out of bounds. I thought it was a good move, let it go out of bounds, but I don't know what happened. It hit like a curveball. Well, they have to get Stephen Jones deep. They've got to have some big plays with Williams out of the ball game this week. David Williams, they've got to get Stephen Jones deep. They want to get Barnes running the football, but Damon Allen, I think, is the key to this offense. He has got to prove that he can get in there from start to finish and win.
They give the ball to Barnes, and Barnes has a gain of maybe 6 yards, stopped by Mike Walker.
Another one of the big things that Damon Allen doesn't have to worry about this year. If you look at that offensive line with Damon and Roper, Illebrin, Yelerenko, and Smith, they're all veterans. He's got a good offensive line in front of him this year, and that's going to get him more time, and it's going to help the running game, and we're seeing that again tonight.
They credit Barnes with a pickup of 7. It will be 2nd and 3. Dawsey wide to the left. Damon Allen under pressure from Braswell. He escapes, but he can't get away from Brett Williams. The Toaster spends the off-season on the wrestling circuit under a couple of names, Humongous being one of them, and Dr. Destruction being the other. And that time he destroyed Damon Allen after he thought he had escaped Jeff Braswell.
Well, they started to blitz him. They bring Norman, the safety man, right up. Damon Allen sees that. You know he's going to get the pressure. He just didn't escape the inside. They forced him to step up, but Toaster was there to get him.
Colbert will come from the outside and try and get there. They force him wide, though. Now it's Williams on this punt return. They're trying to set up the wall right. But getting through to make the tackle is Troy Wilson. There's a penalty flag on the play as well. 9:27 remains in the first quarter.
It's over 30 degrees at field level here at Lansdowne Park. The big concern for players in weather like this is fluid loss. The Rough Rider training staff instructed each of its players to drink about 2 pints of water before they took the field. They played in temperatures not quite as warm as this in Hamilton last week. Many of the linemen still lost between 10 and 12 pounds. They might suffer the same fate tonight, Ron and Don, or would you call that a fate? I'm not sure.
I don't think it would bother either Ron or myself, Scott, to lose some weight. Steve Goldman, the head coach of the Ottawa Rough Riders in his 2nd year, a former assistant with the Edmonton Eskimos, he and Joe Faragelli, the head man of the Eskimos, did not really part on friendly terms. And the media in Ottawa has been making a big thing out of it the past couple of days.
Yeah, probably more than it should be mentioned, but yesterday at the press conference it was interesting.
Sideline pattern to Keith Wright. He's got a first down. Arriving just a little too late was Derek White.
Well, that's a tough throw. and he's rolling to it, but he's got a flat man in the flat at about 6 yards, then Keith Wright out at about 14. He's throwing the ball over top of the linebacker that's covering the short guy and then into the hole. That's a hard pass to make, and he's made it twice now.
Well, Wright has that blazing speed. 8 receptions coming into this game, 3 touchdowns. That's not a bad percentage.
You take that any day.
He's been on the receiving end of 2 throws so far tonight. This time, inside to Taylor, nowhere to run. He was stacked up by Greg Stuman and Krupke.
You can pack it up at the point of attack. They put 3 receivers to the wide side, try to run that way, stack it up at the hole. When he cuts back, you will get help. The big thing you don't want to do is allow them to get through the line on their initial burst. Then they're in the secondary and running free.
The man wearing the sunglasses and the headset is Gary Durchik, former head coach of the Montreal Alouettes and the offensive line coach under Joe Farragelli with the Edmonton Eskimos. 2nd and 12. Tracy Ham over the middle. It's incomplete. It was intended for Henry Williams, and the Edmonton Eskimos will be forced to punt with 8:12 remaining in the opening quarter. The Ottawa Rough Riders felt they had a good defensive scheme coming into this game. So far, they have stymied the Edmonton Eskimos.
But that time happened, they had 1 receiver, and that turned out to be Gizmo to the left side of the formation. He came too far inside and forced Ham to throw it behind him. That's what he was talking to him by going off. When you got single coverage, stay out where you get no help. Help the quarterback get a throwing lane.
This time, the Ottawa Rough Riders set up the return. There'll be a penalty flag as Stacey Dawsey took it on the run, and he had 2 Eskimos trapped with inside that 5-yard area. As a matter of fact, Dawsey had 1 downfield tackler right on top of him.
It would be nice on that if Dawsey could catch that on the run and get outside of that contained man. The contained man's job is to force him to turn inside, but Dawsey, when he caught the ball, was going so fast he had no choice to go out of bounds.
No yards. Edmonton number 16. 1st down.
No yards call against Edmonton.
Well, with 2 weeks of play in the CFL complete, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers lead the East, and there weren't many who forecast them in preseason predictions.
And 10.
And in the West, the Edmonton Eskimos are right where most thought they would be, leading the way with 2 straight wins. That one slipped right out of the hands of Ken Abrera and away from the safety, Mark Norman.
Came on that halfback blitz, and the receiver has to read it. When that halfback blitz is from the top of the screen, the second receiver, in this case Abrera, break to the sideline. It makes it a long way for Norman to go to cover. In fact, he can't get there. It's just that you got to catch the pass. You got to get it on the money.
Part of the problem for Abrera on that one may have been the sun, because he was looking directly into it. In that one area of the field, it is a problem. 2nd and 10, Braswell on the blitz. And there's a penalty flag. I'm wondering if there might be an additional flag, because he went after quarterback Damon Allen with a little more than the usual enthusiasm.
Offside. Edmonton number 23. 2nd down.
Got the safety man, Mark Norman, coming on a blitz. Got him offside. Take a look. Well,
Ball on the 36.
you could have called anybody you wanted to. You should have just said offside on everybody wearing gold.
2nd and 5. Allen throws complete to Barnes, and Barnes is going to get the 1st down and more. From the Ottawa coaching staff about the performance of Barnes last week against Hamilton. From what we've seen so far in this first quarter, Ron, Tony Cherry's going to have a tough time getting his job back.
Well, we found out last week he could run. Now he shows good hands, but what you have to like, he catches the ball. Now, when you catch the football, turn upfield, duck the shoulder, right there. You knock the tackler off, and now it's just good moves. He's got good moves. He needed one more block. And then when he throws a forearm at him and he ducks under it, but he lost his balance. He only got 74 yards, but he's inside the 5 again. This is where you have to get it in the end zone. But from what we've seen of him, he's a player. That's all you care about.
He is going to be an exciting newcomer to the Canadian Football League. Rookie running back Reggie Barnes out of Delaware State, 5'9", 210 pounds. So the Ottawa Rough Riders take a 9-0 lead. The point after by Dean Dorsey. 6:57 the time remaining in this opening quarter.
Well, they had 4 receivers to the wide side of the field when they brought the back. They just had everybody scattered and right out in the flat. That was an excellent catch by Barnes. But boy, did he show you something once he caught it. He turned that shoulders upfield and ducked that shoulder, and they just started bouncing off of him, and he showed awful good speed to go down the sidelines.
Ken Hobart had tremendous praise for this young man in assessing his abilities prior to the game. He said not only does he run well, but he also has good hands, and we saw evidence of that on that last play.
And you have to have them to play in this league. When you're putting the ball in the air 50 times a game, you've got to catch your share.
The Gizmo starts out from the 25-yard line, going to the short side. He simply runs out of room in the vicinity of the 37, forced out by Gord Weber.
52-yard kick.
Well, this good crowd of about 25,000 at Lansdowne Park tonight, delighted with what they have witnessed so far in this opening quarter. It's a hot evening, 30 degrees is the temperature. And so far, the Ottawa Rough Riders have made things hot for the Edmonton Eskimos, a team with a 2-0 record. The Ottawa Rough Riders looking for their first win of the season. Handoff to Craig Ellis on a counter play with the slot back, and the Ottawa Rough Riders were ready for that one. Glenn Kolka and Pat Miller made the stop.
Anytime you run a reverse, you'd like to get outside with it to get some running room. Craig Ellis being an old running back, he knows when to cut in because there was nothing out there. But so far, that front 4 along those linebackers, they have shut the run down on first down. And that's the key. Get Tracy Ham in second and long.
3 of the front 4 free agents, Kolka, Mandarich, and Stuman. Intercepted by Hunter. Penalty flag on the play as Daniel Hunter picks off a Tracy Ham pass.
The toughest thing in the world, Don, one-on-one coverage. That man right there, Daniel Hunter, won the battle. He broke on the ball and cut in front of the receiver.
Steve Goldsman's Ottawa Rough Riders dominating so far with 5:55 left in the opening quarter. Well, you don't play pass defense any better than this Henderson State product who joined the Rough Riders in August of last year did on this play.
There it is. When that receiver runs the hook, you're inside of him to start with. It's how much guts do you have? You're going to go get the football, what he did, and Goldman wants him to be aggressive, and the aggressiveness paid off as he cut in front of the receiver and made the interception.
Pass intended for Keith Wright, aborted by Daniel Hunter, and the Ottawa Rough Riders have another turnover to the delight of head man Steve Goldman. And Joe Farragelli must be feeling his team is running into an open switch here at Lansdowne Park tonight. Allen to the sidelines, incomplete. Ken Abraire was being covered by Clark. He had to go up high on the sidelines, couldn't pull it in. Abraire with a key reception in the final second of the season opener against Winnipeg that forced the overtime, but unfortunately for the Rough Riders, they lost in the extra time.
He had a good career at Wilfrid Laurier University. He was drafted here in his senior year in college, broke his leg and sat out a lot of the season. That time was just good coverage by Kevin Clark. You cover him like that, they're hard to complete.
Counter action with Barnes. He fumbles the football. And the Edmonton Eskimos get it back. It's loose again, and Ottawa's got it, but they're ruling the play was dead. Enos Jackson came up with that football. That's twice now that Barnes has fumbled, but does he run impressively?
Well, great job inside. As I said, get him into the secondary. The offensive line's job is to get the ball carrier into the secondary. After that, you're on your own. Watch how fast 19 gets into the secondary. There comes the trap, an excellent trap block by Gerald Roper. Now, coming from behind is Keith Gooch is going to strip him. He's going to come down hard. Right there. Strips it. Come down on that left arm hard. You have to know they're coming from behind and put that ball away. That's 3 times they've been down inside and have come away with 9 points.
A 46-yard run by Barnes goes for naught as the Eskimos get the ball back at the 25-yard line. We heard a lot of good things by Barnes coming into this, about Barnes coming into this ball game, and we haven't been disappointed by what we've seen.
Well, you know, when you start out with 189 yards in your first game in the league, you don't know whether that's a surprise. Like I said in the opening, Edmonton has seen him once. They may not want to see him again because they are doing a great job up front of blocking for him.
Procedure, Edmonton number 50. First down repeated.
The procedure call was against the left tackle, Blake Dermott. And that takes the ball back to the 20-yard line. It's 1st and 15. 4:50 remaining in the opening quarter. 9-0. Ottawa leading. Tracy Ham might run this one. Out to the 32-yard line.
He made the proper read. He looked inside for Marco Sincar running a hook. But the problem was Sincar was so far inside, he would have had the problem of someone coming from the backside. So Tracy Ham did what he does best, pull it down and go.
Joe Farragelli doesn't feel that Ham will be running as much this year because he's throwing the football better. But he can run in situations like this, and he'll get the first down. Greg Stuman attempted to strip Ham of the football when he made the tackle, but the Edmonton quarterback was hanging on. They don't feel he'll run as much this year, but already he has a better rushing average than he did last year when he ran for 1,005 yards.
Now, we said many times, young quarterbacks revert back to what they do best, and that's run.
Reggie Taylor wanted to run that time, but Bruce Holmes, the middle linebacker, wasn't going to let go of his left foot.
Well, that's who should make the tackle. Your middle linebacker, Bruce Holmes, we said, is one of the keys. If they want to run the football, the middle linebacker becomes a key factor in stopping the run, and that's where he'd be. Now they're going to that no-huddle offense, try to upset Ottawa. Let's see if it works.
Here comes the pressure from the backside. White didn't get there on time, and Ham got the ball away to Ellis. It's loose. Ottawa's recovered. Troy Wilson.
That's a great throw.
Well, the first quarter performance of the Ottawa Rough Riders has the football fans in the nation's capital excited.
You'll see that blitz come from the backside, and it's coming, but Tracy Ham gets rid of the football. There it is. But what? Perfect throw. Ellis has it, gets turned upfield, but right here he loses it. The ball is loose. Troy Wilson is one of those people that is around the ball when it's free. 3 interceptions, couple fumble recoveries in 2 games, and he can play the corner when he has to. He's a good one.
Well, we said at the start of the telecast that the Rough Riders felt they might be able to run the ball. They also feel they can throw deep. Stephan Jones. Touchdown. Stephan Jones, 57 yards for the major score, and it's now 15-0 with the point after to come.
Why, if you think about what they told us they wanted to do, if they want to come up and crowd them in one-on-one coverage, is what Andre Francis did. They want to run on them straight down the field, and all this is the quarterback tries to lay it out in front of the receiver and have him catch it in full flight. And Jones showed you good speed, and he got behind a pretty good corner now. Andre Francis is as good a cover man as there is, and they will go to distance.
However, they did feel that the size of Stephan Jones might cause some problems for Andre Francis.
It always does. I mean, when you got a corner like Francis somewhere around 5'8", if you put the ball up, the taller guy should get it, and he can use that height, and that time he used it.
On his left finger, on the little finger on his left hand, you might notice a splint. He broke his little finger in the season opener against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. But with David Williams already out of the lineup, they were forced to keep Stefan Jones in the lineup tonight. And there you see the splint on that left finger. And that will impede his ability to catch the football, I would think.
It sure would. I mean, your hand, you just can't move that hand as well. You need those fingers. You got to spread them to catch the ball.
Didn't cause any problems for him that time, however, and Dean Dorsey adds the point after. And with 3 minutes remaining in the ball game in the first quarter, the Ottawa Rough Riders lead the Edmonton Eskimos 16-0. And I wonder how many football pools are out of whack with that score.
You know, Ottawa doesn't get a lot of respect because the last 3 or 4 years they have not been a good football team. And I think when teams get ready to play them, they're still expecting that Ottawa team of old. But as you mentioned earlier, they could just as easily be 2 wins and no losses coming into tonight. And the Eskimos are finding out that they are a pretty good club. Yeah, it's up to the Eskimos now to show that supposedly experienced championship form that they have and come back. But don't give them a chance. Look at the blocking. Just lay it to the sidelines, let your receiver run and get it. Throw it over the defensive back's head. Jones shows great speed. Easy touchdown when it works.
They've got the oxygen at the Ottawa bench, and with the temperature at 30 degrees, I'm sure it is most welcome for players who have run a long distance, such as Stefan Jones on that 57-yard touchdown gallop. Again, they're kicking the ball to the gizmo from the 29-yard line, looking for some blocking help. Football is loose. Ottawa's come up with it. Troy Wilson has the ball.
I don't know, Don, whether there's the sweat on the arms or something, but we're seeing the ball go down a lot. You got hit from the side, and again, who's there? Troy Wilson. Let's see what happens. He's going to come. He's going to cut back, and this is where he's going to get it. Ken Abrera reached in with that left arm and just pulled it out, and again, who else would be there but Troy Wilson?
He seems to be around that football. Interceptions and fumble recoveries. This hasn't been the tidiest game of the season, but the Ottawa Rough Riders love it. Quickly inside to Wilcox. And he's stopped by Kevin Clark after a gain of 5 yards.
Well, we saw Edmonton all the time coming up, showing blitz. This time, they drop deep. They say, we're going to play a little bit of zone. As soon as you do that, there are holes in the zone, and Damon Allen will go to it. Watch how deep. You'll see him just dropping out of there, right in the hole. There's the linebacker, and there's the halfback. There's a hole in there. You dump it to him, and he gets 6 yards.
Wilcox took a pretty good hit from Clark, and he is down on one knee and having some problems with that left arm.
Wilcox was the #1 choice a year or so ago. And Ken Abrera has somehow taken his job away from him, but Wilcox is a big one at 225 pounds out of Boise, I believe. You know, he's going to be a good one as soon as he starts to understand you have to run routes a certain way. He has a tendency to break patterns, and quarterbacks don't like that.
You know, and you look at teams over the years, one thing the Edmonton Eskimos have done, they've been very patient with the Canadian players they have drafted. And that's why I think so many of them have developed into stars in the CFL.
They don't expect them to come in and do everything right away.
That's throwing deep again for Abrera. Touchdown!
To his left, looked to his left, and all Abrera did is just jog down the field. When the ball was in the air, Kevin Clark, the defensive back, realized he was beat, and he turned his back on it all the way down, never looked for the ball, and Abrera made the catch.
Tremendous concentration by Ken Abrera. He made the catch and then stepped through the end zone, but he was in bounds when he hauled it in, and with Dean Dorsey adding the point after, it's 23-0 Ottawa over Edmonton. If you've just tuned in, that is, in fact, the correct score. Ottawa 23, Edmonton nothing. We still have 1:49 to play in this opening quarter.
Well, stay down, looking left. Now he turns back. Now what's in the air? 16 running after the ball. He's not looking at the ball. Kenneth Bear finds it first. He stops. Clark turns the wrong way. Touchdown.
Ken Abrere with a key reception, as we mentioned earlier, in that season opener in the final second against Winnipeg. Another big one here tonight against the Edmonton Eskimos. Ken Abrere, 6'1", 200 pounds, out of Wilfrid Laurier. And again, he's a receiver that the Ottawa Rough Riders have been patient with, allowing him to develop.
Well, you have to. Nobody comes into this league ready to play. I don't care where you're from, whether you're from north or south, you still have to learn how to play.
And the Ottawa Rough Riders, if they needed any encouragement, certainly are fired up now by the 23 first quarter points they have scored. Brett Young was there to make the tackle on Henry Williams.
Well, this is the time now the defense has to stay tough and the offense has to keep attacking. You know, don't let up just because you got a 23-0 lead, because the Eskimos can score 40 or 45 points. You got to keep playing like it's nothing and keep attacking and hope that defense does their job.
We were talking earlier today, Ron. The Edmonton Eskimos are capable of scoring points, 40 points, 41 points in their first two games. But they've also given up a lot of points this year, 59 points in their first two games.
Yeah, they're giving up about 28.5 points a game, and that is a lot. And we're seeing this thing move up. You know, every year you have a break point of what you have to score to win. Right now, you got to score over 28 points, it looks like, to win in this league. So the defense has to buckle up right now because they can't give up another touchdown. It's an awful long way back. But Ottawa has got to stay after them.
So with Brett Young going out of the ball game, Scott Flagel will move over to that inside halfback position, and Kyle Hall will play safety.
Well, I would look for him now to play a lot of zone defense. I don't think Flagel's a great man cover, and you get another guy, and that's two. I think we'll see a little bit more zone out of Ottawa right now until we see whether Young can come back or Derek White can come back.
1:35 is the time remaining in this opening quarter. 23-0, the Ottawa Rough Riders lead. Reggie Taylor trying to get outside, and there are 4 black jerseys over there to pursue him. Some work being done at that Ottawa bench.
Counter.
Gain of about 4.
You see that quarterback roll one, you saw the tackle with that pull. He's going to pull and lead to the backside.
Joe D'Alessandros, who works with the offensive line, talking things over with the men up front. On second down, Tracy Ham overthrows his intended receiver on the sidelines, and the Edmonton Eskimos again are forced into a punting situation with 1 minute remaining in this opening quarter.
Now they'll talk it over on the sideline. Talking to Colbert. I thought Colbert was in the right area. He got into that area between the linebacker and the defensive back into what is called the seam. He stood there where he should. The ball was just thrown behind him.
Just one man back for this third down punt by Ray McAreedy. That's Cornelius Reddick. Here comes the pressure again. And White just missed it. Reddick fumbles the ball. Blake Marshall has it. Reddick just never had possession of the football, and Blake Marshall scooped it up. And the Edmonton Eskimos create a turnover with 41 seconds remaining in this opening quarter.
Now that ball just looked like it slipped right out of his hands. He wasn't hit at all, and the ball popped out of there. Don't give him, let him into the game. That's what the pressure comes, but what they do is they block him outside, and they can't get White in there to do it. But let's see what happens. All right, the ball is caught. And there it goes. No one hit him. Blake Marshall probably couldn't believe it that the ball came open.
First and 10 Edmonton. They are at the Ottawa 21-yard line. Tracy Ham gets away from the first tackle into the end zone, and it's nowhere near the intended receiver, Marco Sincar. He was being covered by Daniel Hunter, and I think it's safe to assume that on that one, Tracy Ham was simply throwing it away under the tremendous pressure he was getting from that Ottawa front four.
Well, this is what Ottawa wanted to do, improve their pass rush. They're a little bit weak in the secondary experience-wise. You need experience, but if you get the pass rush, it can compensate for that lack of experience, and that time they got to him in a hurry.
They always talk about one player having difficulty hauling down Tracy Ham. Greg Stuman had 2 shots at him, couldn't make the tackle. This time Stuman gets some help, and he does bring him down.
The thing you have to like about that pass rush also is that there was no hole for Tracy Ham to escape to. He does most of his running when he gets into the pocket and then takes off straight upfield through a lane. But if we get a replay on this, watch, there is no lane for him to escape. The pressure comes and steps up, but look at the black jerseys. Every lane is covered. He's got nowhere to go but down. That is an excellent job by that Ottawa front 7.
Greg Stuman in 1987 led the league with 23 quarterback sacks. This year with Ottawa, he came into the game with 4. He's off to a fine start to this 1990 season. McAreedy finally puts the Edmonton Eskimos on the board on the final play of the opening quarter with a 30-yard field goal. Ottawa leads by 20 after 15 minutes. To get the second quarter underway, Marco Sinkar kicks off, but apparently the play had been whistled dead before he'd even moved up to the football. Sinkar is running out of that slot back position, replacing Tom Richards. We'll have an update on the situation with Tom Richards at halftime. Scott will have more. But they are going to miss Tom Richards and his offensive talents at that slot back position.
Well, he's just coming into his own. You know, he put in his time of learning and backing up, finally gets a chance to start, and you hate to see anybody leave the lineup. He didn't make the trip with the Eskimos. We'll find out more about that, as you say, at the half.
Cornelius Reddick on the kickoff return. And he brings the ball back to the 45-yard line, stopped there by Mike McLean. Statistically, look at the yards the Ottawa Rough Riders ran up in that opening quarter. 225 yards, 63 rushing yards, 165 passing, but 7 turnovers in that opening quarter.
That's the surprising thing. 7 turnovers in 1 quarter. I don't know what it is, but it seems like all the games have had more than their share of turnovers. No coach, that's what drives coaches crazy.
There were 19 last week on Friday night at Winnipeg Stadium as the Blue Bombers defeated the Toronto Argonauts. Matt Dunnigan tied a league record, throwing 7 interceptions. Screen pass to Conrad. He's caught from behind. Leroy Blue was the man who caught up with him.
That's a good play by Blue. They did a good job of setting that screen pass. Allen went back, pumped the ball, and then started giving ground and dumped it. He had the lineman in front of him, and he turned to the inside. But number 89, Leroy Blue's playing a rush in, who was a linebacker, 230, but he came back and helped out and made the tackle. It's a 2-yard gain. That's a good defensive play. That's another one of them young guys you're talking about, Don.
He's out of Bishop's. Twice he was named Bishop's Athlete of the Year. This is a counteraction with Barnes. He runs hard, north and south, as they say in coaching parlance.
You know, the play we saw the coach diagramming on the board over there, that's it, right there. Start to your left, hand it off, pull the tackle, follow him back to the short side. That's what they ran, and it's going to be close enough, I think. Looks to me like no more than a yard.
They send out the short yardage offense. Cornelius Reddick and Ken Abrare go out of the ball game. John Mandarich comes in. Brad Turney was the other player who came in on that short yardage offense, and Damon Allen gets the first down. Steve Goldman, in answering questions about the free agency sign, felt that they provided a nucleus to his football team. He said it wasn't like the situation in Edmonton where they acquired all those starters in the Matt Dunnigan trade. He said, we needed a nucleus in Ottawa. The free agents, we feel, have given it to us.
You have to have some veterans.
Stacey Dawsey working on the sidelines, 1-on-1. He'll be very close to a first down. Stopped by Keith Gooch.
Gooch, and then Braswell came in. That's a heck of a hit. That's awful good hustle by a linebacker to get out there on an out pattern that's only 10 yards down the field. Watch how fast he throws the ball, and there's number 44, Braswell, in your picture. All right, now the out pass is thrown. He dilly-dallies around a little bit and cuts to the inside. Gooch makes the tackle, but watch this. He gets some help, and who is it? Jeff Braswell. That's a long way to run to make a hit, and that's a good effort.
Stacey Dawsey is limping, but he remains in the ball game. It's 1st and 10, Ottawa. They are at the 48. Jeff Braswell, who has delivered a couple of punishing hits so far in this 1990 season, one of them to Mike Pinball Clemens of Toronto in the season opener. Barnes running inside, stopped after a gain of about 1 by Mike Walker, the former star with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who signed as a free agent this year with Edmonton.
That Mike Walker plays the wide side, open side tackle. They try to run to the short side of the field, but watch him. Watch coming down the line. Number 61 gets inside. You can't get him. You're not going to make a down block on him by a tackle. He's too quick for you, and he comes right down the way he should and gets that ball carrier for a 1-yard gain.
Good protection for Allen. He's throwing deep. Stephan Jones will score. A 57-yard touchdown reception for Stephan Jones, followed by a 46-yard touchdown score. And the Ottawa Rough Riders lead at 29-3, the point after to come.
When we see the replay, we'll see Mark Norman, number 23, up close. Blitz is coming. Look for him. There they go. There's no safety man in the middle, which means Mark Norman is over covering somebody. And there you go to the hole. The hole is in the middle of the field. Stephan Jones runs right to the middle. Damon Allen sees him, makes it easy.
The Ottawa Rough Riders have 30 points. We still have 11:29 remaining in the first half.
Without all the racket.
Receiver David Williams not playing in this game because of a pulled quad. Before we get an update on your status, what's your interpretation of what in the name of heaven is going on out there?
Well, right now, I think everybody's not worrying about what happened the last 2 games because we should have won the last 2 games, and when it came down to it, we didn't do what we had to do to win. So I think now they're just putting everything behind them, and they're just giving everything they have.
And you're making the Eskimos pay. Quickly, David, can you play next week?
I think so. I pulled my quad, so I was about 75% yesterday, and we didn't want to take a chance of me pulling it again and being out for a little while. So they just decided to send me out and let everybody else go.
Well, few would have thought much of the Riders' chances of beating the Eskimos tonight without you. Don?
Well, Stephan Jones has certainly stepped in and replaced David Williams tonight. 2 touchdown receptions. Marco Sinkar on the kickoff return. He won't get any further than the 37-yard line.
Paul McGowan, that linebacker, we saw him on the block punt do a good job eating up a block. This time goes right down and makes the tackle almost where he caught it. That's a good job up front.
6 plays, 71 yards. They took only 3 minutes and 31 seconds to score. The coaches told us they felt they could run against Edmonton. They also felt they could throw deep. They've thrown deep twice for touchdowns.
That was the key. You see, here they come. A lot of time, gets to look deep, lets it go. He takes the hit. You see him step forward. Just throw it out in front. Nobody in the hole. That means no one in the middle. Lead him into it and let him run to it.
Penalty flags fly. Tracy Ham gets out to the 44-yard line. Stopped there by Greg Stuman. This game kicks off week 3 in the CFL. Tomorrow, Calgary's at Saskatchewan, Winnipeg at BC. Saturday, Toronto is at Hamilton. We'll have that game for you on CBC television.
Offside, Ottawa number 35. First down and 5.
The offside call against linebacker Patrick Wayne. That makes it 1st and 5 from the 42-yard line. 11:03 remaining in the half. 30-3, Ottawa leads Edmonton. They can throw inside to Marco Sinkar and Craig Ellis. That has been one of the key plays in the Eskimo attack this season, and Ham used that one for a first down.
They're going to the no-huddle offense. They've got to try to get some momentum. This is a way to get momentum on your side. Put 2-3 first downs together and just start feeling good again.
On the sidelines, Keith Wright and Tracy Ham apparently miscommunicated as to the type of pattern they were to run, because that ball was nowhere near Keith Wright.
He had to throw it too. Glenn Kulka's putting pressure on him. He had to get rid of it. He's looking. He gets rid of it, and Kulka's there to put him on the ground. You're talking about that nucleus of veterans that they had. Every club has to have veterans. That's where you get your leadership. And the veterans here, we hear them talk about put things behind them. Greg Stuman says we're going to be a good football team. And right now they're showing that they are. We knew they were better than their 0-2 record, but they're showing it now.
This is for Henry Williams. He makes the catch down at the 9-yard line. He took that ball away from Derek Wright. Tremendous concentration by the Gizmo to haul that one in.
Let's watch the pattern that Williams will run. See them drop out of there. They're in the zone. Gizmo starts to the post. Then he goes back outside. Just throw the ball as far as you can. That's excellent concentration because Derek Wright made no attempt to play the ball. Gizmo still made the catch. Williams and he's down inside the 10.
Noted for his skills on special teams as a punt and kickoff returner. Williams with a 48-yard reception and a first and goal Edmonton from the 8-yard line. Handoff to Blake Marshall. Marshall keeps driving inside the 5, stopped by Pat Miller. And Miller had a tough time bringing Marshall down.
That was a unique formation. Put 3 receivers to the wide side, then took Reggie Taylor and set him out there too. Now when you get in man coverage, those linebackers have to adjust, so they had no middle linebacker. It's a good play to call when you get that horse like Blake Marshall coming up through there.
The ball is at the 4-yard line. Second and goal Edmonton. They trail by 27 points with 8:50 remaining in the quarter. From the backside, Troy Wilson was coming, but there was a penalty flag on the play. Ham must have felt that pressure. He threw just in time, but there was a penalty flag. I wouldn't be surprised if it's offside Ottawa. This will give the Edmonton Eskimos a first down and 3 more cracks at putting it in the end zone.
Offside, Ottawa number 26, first down.
Half the distance to the goal line, puts the ball at the 2. First and goal from that point. I think Joe Farragelli anticipated that he would have to work as hard or wait this long for the Eskimos to put the ball into the end zone. Blake Marshall struggles. He gets there, but they rule that he was stopped at the 1. Blake Marshall from Western Ontario. You know, Ron, they could hold a Western Ontario alumni gathering here in this ball game tonight. 6 former University of Western Ontario players suited up for Ottawa and Edmonton.
Well, they're national champions, and they've got a good football program. They're near the top every time, and Marshall thought he was in the end zone. I don't know what you thought. I thought he scored. I'm looking down there, and he's across that 1 stripe, but they blew the play dead at the 1, so they're going to have to do it again.
Second and goal from the 1. It's Marshall again. This time they signal a touchdown, but there's also a penalty flag.
Now that time I didn't think he got in. I really didn't. I thought that was a great defensive play over there. Somebody got underneath. It was a linebacker, Pat Miller. I thought that was a heck of a play. I don't know, my glasses must be
Offside,
gone.
Ottawa number 75, declined, touchdown.
John Mandarich was offside, so the touchdown will stand.
All right, let's go. Lead block.
Michael
Mike Soles. All right, looks like he should get in there, but what's this? They stack it up, and then underneath, look at that. Lambrecht underneath. They did a heck of a job of rallying to the football, but he got in the end zone.
Marshall tried to keep those legs driving, but he had no place to put them down.
No, when you get underneath them and he loses that momentum, you know, they're just like anyone else. They can't run if they can't get those legs going.
McAreedy with the point after, and with 7:52, it's now a 30-10 ball game. We'll be back with the Edmonton kickoff after this.
We draw your attention
On live
to
at the
the
half from
electronic
Lansdowne Park
stadium
tonight, one of the most
message
dominant
boards.
quarterbacks in some time in the CFL. Edmonton's Tracy Ham will join us live, although I'm not sure he can recall a first half like this. And Argo quarterback Matt Dunnigan will join us live from Toronto 48 hours before he travels down the QEW with the Argos to Hamilton for a game we'll have on the CFL on CBC. Don?
30-10. the Ottawa Rough Riders lead. I think the Ottawa Rough Riders would be well advised not to try and play cautious football, even though they lead by 20 points.
Well, they got to keep going. You got to keep trying to score points because this game's far from over.
Stacey Dawsey on the return. He gets it back to the 50-yard line. Good field position. Marco Sinkar, the man who kicked the ball, was over to force Dawsey out of bounds.
Yeah, the thing you like the best is what you said, good field position. At the 50-yard line, you can afford to open it up and try to put more points on the board. The worst thing they can do, Don, is get a little conservative right now.
Yes, they don't ever want to think this game is over because the Edmonton Eskimos are capable of scoring a lot of points and scoring quickly.
They got a lot of pride. They're a good football team. Everybody in the country knows Edmonton's a good club, and good clubs never quit. And we're going to get a good shot of that coming on. So Ottawa's got to keep attacking.
The Eskimos moved 73 yards in 8 plays. The big play was the pass from Tracy Ham to Gizmo Williams that carried the ball down inside the 10-yard line.
Andre Francis went for an equipment change. So Enos Jackson comes to the corner. Mike Hildebrand goes to safety, and then they move Mark Norman over. See if they go after him first play, but Jackson's a pretty good corner.
Stefan Jones wide to the right. He's already scored 2 touchdowns. Deep for Reddick. He makes the catch. He had Keith Gooch all over him, but he still hauled it in.
They roll to that zone defense, which means the defenders are deeper than you. Reddick sees it. He turns to the inside, and just as the ball arrives, the defender arrives. But you see Danny Bass is already over here. Now the hole's backside, but watch. Just as the ball arrives, bang. As you say, he's all over him. You don't cover it any better, but that's good concentration, and they are attacking, and that's good to see.
1st and 10, Ottawa. The ball is at the 31-yard line. Handoff to Barnes. He fumbles the football. Edmonton has got it. That's the 3rd time Barnes has fumbled the football in the ball game. And that may be one of the problems that he is going to pose for Coach Steve Goldman this season. Another big turnover. It goes to Edmonton. Damon Allen giving the ball to Reggie Barnes, and he lost control of it right there with the contact by Michel Bourgeau, and Bourgeau comes up with the football.
The key was Bourgeau beat Rob Smith, the offensive tackle. You saw the tackle sitting back on his heels. Bourgeau won the battle at the line of scrimmage, makes the hit, caused the fumble, and gets the ball. And as we said, the game is far from over, so this Ottawa defense now has to make them earn it. That means if they're going to give up a touchdown, make them take time off the clock and earn it. No more big plays.
Bourgeau, initially drafted by the Ottawa Rough Riders, he spends his offseason in the nation's capital. He's involved in the computer business here in Ottawa. Those computers may go zip-zap and a few other things if the number of turnovers that we've seen so far continues. Marco Sinkar to the 54 of the Ottawa Rough Riders. As we cautioned earlier, this Edmonton team is capable of striking quickly and scoring a lot of points.
That was a good job by Tracy Ham. Watch him come back. You see the linebackers, they split and go out. He looks to his left, give him time to circle into the open area. Once he turns the corner, bang, throw it in the hole and let the receiver go get it.
Tracy Ham under pressure, won't get a chance to throw it. Oh, he does get it away. Sinkar makes the catch, loses the ball. Daniel Hunter comes up with it, but the play had been whistled dead. Tracy Ham appeared to be dropped for a loss by Patrick Wayne, but he got the ball away.
This shows you the strength of Tracy Ham. Now, when you get Patrick Wayne at 225 pounds on your back, watch him. I mean, he's got him, but watch the strength. He keeps the legs moving and throws a strike. He gets something on that ball and then up and go and make the catch. That's pretty hard to do.
Marco Sinkar, who was on the receiving end of that throw, is the injured Edmonton player. He's a CFL veteran. Sinkar out of the University of Alberta. Interestingly enough, he played all his minor football in Edmonton, high school, junior at the University of Alberta, and now he's winding up his football career playing professionally with the Edmonton Eskimos.
He's an excellent football player. This just shows you the depth of the Edmonton Eskimo organization. When you take Tom Richards out, put a Marco Sinclair in, you're not losing a whole lot. That's a good football club.
Jordan Gertner goes into the ball game, the rookie out of the University of Saskatchewan at the slot back position. Tracy Ham looking to throw, fires cross field to Taylor. Greg Schumann is on him. Bruce Holmes got decked with a key block by Michael Soles, enabling Reggie Taylor to get inside the 25-yard line, very close to a first down.
You see the guard pulling 57, Randy Ambrosi. Little fake and come out. A lot of time. Everyone's covered. He looked to the right. Now, when Taylor catches, you see Mike Soles. Come back and help. Watch him help. Right? Now he makes a heck of a block on Holmes. The thing that amazed me is Michael Soles is the third running back at that position. You have Blake Marshall, Chris Johnstone, and now Soles. And they, as you mentioned earlier, they alternate themselves. Now, I know a lot of players that never leave the game, but Joe says, I tell them, everybody's to play, and they take turns. I think it's great.
It is a unique situation where the three rotate on their own, and the instructions from the coaching staff, if you feel tired, come out, the next man will go in.
Yeah, you have. This is what you're talking about. They bring those kids along slowly. Like last year, Soles didn't get to play much. He kind of went in when the game was over. Now, he said he's good enough to get his share, so we work them all in there.
And all three could probably start with any other team in the league.
I'll tell you what, I look at their list of 5 running backs, and they're as good as anybody. Better than most.
Second and less than a yard. Seemed to be a mix-up, and Tracy Ham can't escape Stillman.
There definitely was a mix-up. And what I would say it was is the ball came up late to the quarterback. Because when Tracy Ham got the ball before he could get turned, Randy Ambrosi had already pulled. So by the time Tracy Ham made the fake to come outside, Stillman, with that great speed, got inside. That's who Randy Ambrosi should be blocking, the outside guy. But Stillman, with that great speed, got him. Got between them.
Greg Stillman, the leader in quarterback sacks, adds to his total.
Let's see. Had a little trouble with it. Now, normally the quarterback would be out there. Tracy Ham was a little bit slow getting away from center, and that allowed Stillman to get knife in from the backside and make the tackle.
So that forces the Eskimos to attempt the field goal. McElready's kick is true. And with 4:27 remaining in the first half, it's now 30-13. The Ottawa Roughriders leading the Edmonton Eskimos. We said last week, following Calgary's victory over Saskatchewan, that this year, more so than any other year, there seemed to be parity in the CFL. On any given night, one team capable of knocking off any other team. And the Ottawa Roughriders are leading by 17. Scott?
Don here on the Ottawa bench. Bad news for the receivers. Gerald Wilcox, their only backup receiver, has broken his collarbone. That could mean a month, perhaps 2 months, maybe even the season for Wilcox. Of more immediate concern for the Roughriders is if another receiver got hurt, who would take his place? It's an eventuality they obviously were not prepared for, because a couple of the receivers I talked to have no idea who it would be. They say obviously one of the defensive backs, but they're obviously hoping they'll be able to get through the game with 4 receivers.
Well, you almost bet it'll be one of the defensive backs that do it. The way things, I'd put Troy Wilson in there. Anytime the ball goes up, he gets it. Orville Lee could go, they could go that way. Or you know who else could go out there? Hobart could play the slot.
Well, Ken Hobart has played as a receiver in the past. He has also played as a defensive back. He is the backup quarterback. I think they'd be inclined to go with Orville Lee.
Well, I would think they'd have to. I mean, you got to have a receiver.
Hopefully they won't encounter that problem. Cornelius Reddick on this kickoff return. He gets it back to the 48-yard line. We've talked so much about the return skills of Henry Williams and Colbert for Edmonton. There's not much wrong with Cornelius Reddick and Stacey Dossie of the Ottawa Roughriders.
What you have to like about what Reddick did is once he got the ball and started to his right, as soon as he saw an opening, he took it. He didn't go all the way outside where they were trying to set it up. He took straight upfield with the football and got maximum yardage out of it. That's a good job of returning.
4:21 is the time remaining in the first half. The Ottawa Roughriders in front by 17. First and 10 from the 47-yard line. Penalty flag as Conrad hauls in the pass. He has a gain of about 14, 15 yards, but there's a penalty flag back at the line of scrimmage. This will be a holding call against Ottawa. That will negate the gain.
What we're going to get is a holding call, but the thing is, you saw the linebackers, everybody up close as a blitz. You try to get your running back on a linebacker. That in that case, he had Conrad on Braswell. Braswell can't run with him. They made the completion.
Ottawa number 54. First down repeated.
Irv Damon, the center, is guilty of the holding call. We talked about the 6 University of Western Ontario grads playing tonight. He's another from the Mustangs.
He sure is. We're going to see the replay. The center. Now he's making the contact right here. Watch him pull this guy down. Pull down Mike Walker, number 61, just tackles him. And you see Walker turn around and look at him. Pretty hard to get away with it when it's that obvious.
First and 20. Pass is intercepted by Danny Bass, the Defensive Player of the Year in the CFL last season. And the Edmonton Eskimos will have it first and 10 at the Ottawa 40-yard line. I said earlier that despite the fact the Rough Riders were leading by 20 points, don't get too comfortable because this Edmonton team is capable of coming back.
When you roll out to your left, it's hard to throw back inside. Watch Danny Bass. He's just cruising along. You throw it back in the middle, there he comes, right where he should be. Run that curl route, the middle linebacker can get under it, and Danny Bass proved it once again.
He read that quarterback perfectly, watching him as he was looking downfield for Cornelius Reddick.
See, we always tell the quarterback, you read the defenders, but you got to remember this, the defender's reading you.
First and 10 from the 40-yard line. 3:22 remaining in the half. Tracy Ham throwing over the middle. Oh! Bruce Holmes a drop in front of Marco Sincar, but he couldn't pull it down.
That's the pattern they threw a while ago, and when they just cleared Holmes, Ham threw the ball. This time Holmes knew it was coming, just couldn't hold on. He's got to catch that. That's a big turnover for him.
Bruce Holmes a little upset with himself.
You see the ball in the air. Watch number 53, Bruce Holmes, the middle linebacker. Boy, he's a long way back. He's about 15 yards deep, but he can't hold it.
He came over to the Rough Riders from Toronto in October of last year for future considerations. Second and 10, sideline pattern intercepted. This could go for a touchdown for Troy Wilson. He has to beat Tracy Ham. And Ham makes the tackle.
Like I told you, if the ball's anywhere to be seen, Troy Wilson will be there. That was excellent coverage. He laid off, and when the ball was in the air, he cut under it and took it in full flight.
A 63-yard return by Troy Wilson. 2:46 is the time remaining in the half. With that 63-yard return on the interception of Troy Wilson, Ottawa has it first and 10 at the 17 of Edmonton. 2:40 the time remaining in this first half. Kenneth Rare makes the catch. No, he was out of bounds.
Boy, he tried to get those feet down. Well thrown ball by Damon Allen to the outside. But it was so close to the sideline, I just don't think he could have gotten down even if he'd have caught the football.
Troy Wilson had 2 interceptions last week and a losing cause against Hamilton. Tonight he has 1 interception and 2 fumble recoveries.
It's good defense. Clark just got his hand on it. Didn't have control of it when he went out of bounds.
Second and 10 from the 17-yard line. Handoff to Barnes. He'll be very close to the first down. Man, he runs hard.
Come with that counter again. That's that play we saw diagram. They pull Rob Smith, the left tackle, and he just comes right in around it. That's good call, good running. If you pursue on the rollout, you're susceptible to counter. There it comes. You see Rob Smith leading it. He gets a block on Larry Ruck, and now Barnes takes the hit, bounces off of Ruck and Braswell, and then falls down.
He's a yard and a half short of the first down, and Dean Dorsey comes into the ball game. A field goal attempt with 2:25 remaining. And now Ottawa's called a timeout.
Yeah, I'd talk this over, man. I'm trying to check the yardage down there. What's it say? What do you think? It says third down and 1. It's a little more than 1.
It appears as though Steve Goldman wants to make sure he comes away with points before the half ends. But I think I'd be inclined here to go for it.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're right. You're playing percentages, but man, when you got a chance to get Edmonton down, you don't get this opportunity too many times. You know, a touchdown would be super. 3 points is good. There's nothing wrong with this call at all.
And Dean Dorsey from that range makes no mistake. Dean Dorsey, of course, established a CFL record in 1987, 23 consecutive field goals.
You know, Don, they talk about, you know, you'd like to get the full course meal, but at least come away with the sandwich. And sometimes you get a little greedy and you gamble a little bit.
Well, I think the logic might be that they have to score 3 touchdowns to beat you now.
Well, I look at it, you're down 20, okay? Get that 7, down they need 4. I don't know. I just never like to give them a chance. If they stop you there, they got 100 yards to go. Oh, well, maybe you get a turnover and get the touchdown anyway.
Much was written this week in Ottawa about the final meeting of the season last year between the Rough Riders and Eskimos on October 15th at Commonwealth Stadium. Edmonton won 55-11. They kicked the field goal with just seconds remaining in the game. Rough Riders felt that the Eskimos were running up the score in that one, and as a result, many were looking for revenge in this ball game tonight.
Well, that's what the press conference was all about yesterday when Farraghelli got in a little bit of an argument with a couple of the Ottawa reporters. I found it pretty interesting to stand there and listen to it and then read the account in the paper. It wasn't quite like it happened, but it was interesting.
Farraghelli's explanation is that he wasn't trying to run up the score. He was simply trying to help Jerry Corrick win the scoring championship. Blake Marshall can't hang on to the ball. They were trying to screen to him. Ham threw over the defender, but Blake Marshall couldn't pull the pass down.
Had a good job of coverage downfield by that Ottawa secondary. That's why they had to throw the ball. He looked downfield. There was no one to throw it to. Now they try to lay it over. Get that left hand up. Just couldn't hold on to it. See Randy Ambrosi out in front of it. We had another Western grad a little bit ago. Bercheval leading the sweep around this side of the field. Everywhere we look, here's another one right here. I watched him kick with Western last 3 years. He kicked football.
Brother of Bob McElready, who kicked for the Saskatchewan Roughriders for a number of years. Here comes that pressure. Oh, they almost got it again. Brent Young just missed by a fraction of blocking that kick. Stacey Dossie is brought down at the 39-yard line.
I'll tell you, I don't know how they missed it. That was excellent pressure on the punter. And the best part is they didn't rough him. You know, they didn't hit him. He went down, but they still didn't hit him. That's a good job. Here it comes. Going to come from the left and the right side, but mainly the left. Number 21 is going to show up coming from the outside. There he goes. Get out in front. I don't know how he missed it.
I think that ball went right between his arms.
Boy, I have no idea how they missed this ball. Here they come. Got the pressure is on. Scott Flagel coming up the middle. It did go right between his arms.
1:45 remaining in the half. 1st and 10 Ottawa. They are at their own 39. Handoff to Barnes. We said at the start of our telecast, Ottawa may have a problem controlling Tracy Hand tonight, but they felt Edmonton would have equally as tough a time stopping Reggie Barnes, and they have.
Well, good job of blocking on that side again. Roper and Rob Smith again open the hole, and he's in the same day. Watch this. Boom, boom. Tough guy to bring down.
This time it's Conrad running the football for a gain of 8 with 1:24 remaining. Jeff Braswell and Enos Jackson were over to make the tackle. The short yardage unit comes into the ball game. Michael Lemay and John Mandrich come in, and Ken Avrere and Cornelius Reddick go out.
Take out those 2 slot backs, get a little bigger size in at those end positions so that you can come off the ball and run at the linebackers. Pitch
to Barnes. And he Bass, the middle linebacker, showing why he was the outstanding defensive player in the CFL last year. He was through before Barnes got the ball.
You don't play it any better. You know, some of those linebackers have that sixth sense, and they just have a feeling by the formation. They get a feeling, and Danny Bass started to his left, and when that ball left the quarterback's hand, he was just like a shot. He got in there before anyone could see him.
1:10 the time remaining. This is only the second punt of the ball game for Terry Baker. His first punt traveled 38 yards. Here comes Colbert from the left side, and Baker, with the ball lying on the ground, manages to kick it downfield. Jordan Gertner picked up the football, but Terry Baker, with that ball lying on the ground after the bad snap, managed to kick it downfield, and the rookie Gertner was there to ground it.
That was an ugly snap. That ball actually rolled on the ground. Very fortunate to get it away. We knew the Eskimos would come for some pressure, but watch the ball roll. That thing rolled 10 yards, and then he got a bad hop. With all those gold jerseys, he was lucky to get it through there, but he did. That's all that matters. He got it through.
And he
Turned
got
out to
15
be okay.
yards out of it.
Hey, that's not bad. They're down their own end with 51 seconds left.
33-13 is the score. Ottawa leading Edmonton. Clock running with the snap of the ball. 50 seconds remaining in the half. Intercepted. Scott Flagel, the safety, stepped in front of Craig Ellis.
What they do, Don, drop the two halfbacks deep. Scott Flagel comes up and plays one of the zones across the middle. It's a two-deep zone, and he's sitting there just waiting on crossing patterns. Ideal defense for that particular play. Flagel makes the interception, and now Ottawa has a chance to put more points on the board.
Scott Flagel, who originally came into the CFL with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, won a Shenley Award as the outstanding Canadian, signed as a free agent with Calgary, then was traded to Hamilton, and subsequently to Ottawa last year. Ray Robertus went to Hamilton in exchange. This is deep, and overthrown is Stacey Dawsey.
How you doing, Jordan? Rona? I'll see you in a little while. Take care.
That was a good job of coverage on that side of the field by Keith Gooch. Just turn and run with him. He had him stride for stride. There really was no place for Allen to throw. He just threw it away. Threw it too far.
1982 in Winnipeg. His rookie season in the CFL. Tremendous athlete. Great athletic ability. He was a hurdler in high school. As a matter of fact, at the Western Canada Summer Games one year, he was the hurdles champion.
I know he's a good high jumper. I remember that.
To run the ball. McGrair has to block Clark. And Allen wisely steps out of bounds. And the man that was after him, and the reason I said wisely steps out of bounds, was Jeff Braswell.
Good move. Get the yardage, get out of bounds, don't take the hit. You don't want your quarterback getting hit. Watch the pressure. Good job of covering downfield. But look right here. Mike Walker was in the game, came to the outside and opened that inside lane. Good move right here now. He's hoping to get that block. That's a good job. He had to step out of bounds. Don't take an unnecessary hit. Get out of there and stop the clock.
28 seconds remaining in the half. First and 10. This is just lobbed up there, and Kenneth Rare, I think, tripped up as he attempted to make his cut.
Fans are a little unhappy, but you're going to get contact coming off the ball down near the goal line, and you know it works both ways. He just tripped up a little bit. That's good defense.
So it's second and goal. The ball at the 13-yard line. That play used up just 4 seconds. Riders have been 50% on second down conversions tonight. Out of the reach of Cornelius Reddick, Enos Jackson was running along the goal line with him. And with 20 seconds remaining, Steve Goldman sends out the field goal unit.
He got some pressure rolling to his left. He had to throw it before he wanted to. But that's what pressure does to you. So when you go to your left, you have a tendency to throw it out in front anyway. He got it just a little bit too far, but he didn't take the loss, and they still have the shot at the field goal. Now, I like this call. See, this puts him up. I look at it this way. This puts him up 24, I believe, doesn't it? 23? That's good. I like that. Now we're over that 21 number.
And with 17 seconds remaining, Dean Dorsey on his second field goal try of the night is successful. And it's a 36-13 lead. The Ottawa Rough Riders ahead of the Edmonton Eskimos. You know, Damon Allen was upset last week when he was pulled from the game against Hamilton and replaced by Ken Hobart in the second quarter. He had a long meeting this week with Steve Goldman. He went public with his unhappiness. He and Goldman talked about it. Damon Allen got the start tonight, and he has certainly responded.
Well, it's just like talking to Kenny Hobart and Goldman and Allen. It's just simple. We're all in this thing together, you know, and like Steve said at the press conference yesterday, he said, you do what you have to do to try to win the game. I felt it was best for the club. That's all you need to say. Everything else can take care of itself.
Tracy Ham almost pulled away from the center prematurely. Blake Marshall, the ball carrier, running up to the 51 for a first down with 12 seconds remaining in the half. And Tracy Ham is going to call a timeout. He could run 2 plays. It's conceivable he could easily get the Eskimos into field goal position.
If they're going to sit that deep, their defensive secondary was sitting about 35 yards deep. Now, you're not taking any chances on getting beat deep, but you're going to give up that big game. But the way they're figuring, they're not quite the midfield with 12 seconds. They need another 20 yards or so before they're going to be in field goal range.
Ottawa accused Joe Farragelli of running up the score last year on October 15th. If they get the chance tonight, I think the Ottawa Rough Riders will attempt to run up the score.
Well, running up the score is a tough thing to define. You only have X number of players. If you put all your backups in, you can't tell them not to score. You know, they practice all year. They want to win and play. But it's a tough one.
Screen pass to Blake Marshall. Miller forces him out of bounds at the 49-yard line. Bruce Holmes was also over chasing Blake Marshall, and he went flying into some of those Eskimo players that were standing on the sidelines. But nobody seems to be the worse for wear.
They're all right. 5 seconds left. They're not in field goal range. Now you get deep. Just don't let them throw it in the end zone.
Joanne Polak was predicting 25,000 for tonight's game. I think the crowd may have exceeded her expectations.
Well, I'll tell you what, you couldn't get a better night to sit out and watch football. It's perfect.
This should be the final play of the half. Tracy Ham will run. Excellent work by Brett Young as he makes the tackle. And Tracy Ham is still down. That was the final play of the half, but Tracy Ham is causing great concern for the Edmonton Eskimos right now as he is still down.
Yep. I don't like to criticize quarterbacks, but that's one time you don't want your quarterback running. This is the play of the half. There's no more. Just throw that thing down the field. It's a hoper. You're throwing and hoping. Just throw. You know they're covered. Throw it. Now he's got to score. You're not going to score. There's a lot of black jerseys left. You see him tripped up, and here comes Lambert from the back. Didn't look like he hit him very hard. I think it's just the way he went down.
Well, he may have been winded because Ham is now up and walking off to the Eskimo dressing room. And the Eskimos will have to regroup. They trail by 23.
It is Ottawa 36, Edmonton 13 at the half, and that is not a clerical error. Welcome to Live at the Half from Lansdowne Park. We had advertised Eskimo starting quarterback Tracy Ham as our guest on Live at the Half. And he told me late in the first half of this game, despite the fact the Eskimos were being dominated, that he would be here to be our guest. But the decision obviously was taken out of his hands with that injury that he suffered on the final play of the first half. We don't know how serious it is. We'll update you as soon as we get more information on the condition of Eskimo quarterback Tracy Ham. In the meantime, Tracy Ham is not throwing the ball tonight to veteran Eskimo slot back Tom Richards. We want to update you now on the condition of Tom Richards. He has a slipped disc, and yesterday tests revealed that his best option at this time is surgery. That would almost certainly mean the season for Richards, and I suppose the bigger question is, could Tom Richards ever come back and play effectively at the very punishing position of inside receiver? We do know this. Tom Richards represents one of the very best things about the Canadian Football League, and that is the chance for a local boy to make it big with his CFL team, as he did with the Eskimos. Played his high school ball at Strathcona in Edmonton, then played at the University of Alberta, and last year became the first Canadian receiver in the history of the Eskimos to go over 1,000 yards. And with those numbers, his career obviously already distinguished. We do hope he is able to come back as a player. Stay with us when Live at the Half returns to Lansdowne Park. We'll go live to Toronto to talk to Matt Dunnigan. Quarterback Matt Dunnigan leads the Argos now under the guidance of head coach Don Matthews, and they'll attempt to get the Argos going on Saturday night in Hamilton. The Ticats want another big game from Earl Winfield, who has 4 touchdowns in 2 games. He has been a favorite target of quarterback Mike Carrigan. Toronto at Hamilton, Saturday night on the CFL on CBC at 7:30 Eastern. Live at the Half continues now from Lansdowne Park in Ottawa. In 48 hours' time, we'll be in Hamilton, and so will the Argos to face the Ticats. Now, the Argos were the preseason pick of many people to finish first in the Eastern Conference. Now here they are 0-2 after losses to Edmonton and Winnipeg. Argo quarterback Matt Dunnigan joins us live from Toronto now. And Matt, first of all, do you feel under some pressure after 7 interceptions against the Bombers to get it going against the Ticats on Saturday night?
Well, the lucky 7 wasn't a very good number for me last week. It was, you play long enough, you're going to experience games like that. I don't feel any more pressure than I normally do before a football game, but I understand that this is the longest running rivalry in North America, and I'm feeling a lot of heat, from the players. I know that their attitudes and their ways that they've been practicing this week have picked up just a little bit because we are playing the Hamilton Tiger Cats. So that alone puts enough pressure on the players and myself to perform well come Saturday.
Matt, before I ask you some more about that rivalry that you mentioned, let me ask you again about those 7 interceptions. I don't want to dwell on the negative, but Ron Lancaster and I were talking about it at breakfast this morning, and he said, I bet you there is no place far enough away for Dunnigan to hide.
Thank you very much. Well, that's true. You feel like that sometimes, and certainly when you have a performance like that, you're out there visible, you're doing your work in front of everybody, and everybody's a critic. But I'm just trying to go out there, establish something, try to put the last pass out of my mind and continue on from there. But it just kept happening and happening and happening. It's one of those things. But I'm not going to get gun shy or not pull the trigger. And I'm going to go out there and continue to do the things that the coach has asked me to do. And I know that I have better days, and I know that if I keep playing long enough, I'll have another day like that, because it just happens sometimes.
Well, talking about things the coach has asked you to do, one of them is to run that hurry-up offense. All sorts of talk about it before the season began, and during the first 2 games, it certainly appeared to me, I saw the game in Winnipeg, certainly appeared to me that the hurry-up offense was harder on your offense than it was on the opposing defense.
Well, we've kind of eased back a little bit. We have a lot of young guys in our lineup. For one, Kevin Smelly, we got Howard Dell, we got Jacques Climby. Got a lot of young people within our system right now, and I think it was putting them in some unfortunate situations, as well as our offense. Not taking away from their ability. They've got tremendous ability, or else they wouldn't be with the football club. I just feel that it's putting them in some precarious situations. So what we're going to do is just tone down the no-huddle offense a little bit and slow it down just a little bit, so we can concentrate, focus, and have a little more time to think on what we're going to do out there.
Matt, you're a marquee player. There's no question about that, and many suggested that you belong in the big-time Toronto market, but I would think early in the season, the message is clear. You have to win to cash in on that marquee value.
Well, that's certainly true. All the players know that here. I'm certainly well aware of that anywhere. It's just not here in Toronto. It's anywhere in the CFL. You've got to people will support winners, and we got a lot of winners on our football team. We got Daryl Smith, Jeff Boyd, we got new receiver Trumaine Johnson, Andrew Murray. On my entire offensive line, you know, bookends, Kelvin Prusner and Chris Schultz. Those guys, their work ethics are nothing but winning work ethics, and there's a lot of good things to build on here, and a lot of good tools to work with so that we can win to capture that market.
Matt Dunnigan, thanks for your time. We appreciate you coming down to talk to us tonight. Argo quarterback Matt Dunnigan joining us live from Toronto. We're looking forward to the telecast of the Ticats and Argos on Saturday night from Iverwin Stadium. In the meantime, we'll return to Lansdowne Park with the second half of this game in just a moment.
For the technical problems, the kickoff to start the second half. Telephone lines causing some difficulties between here and Toronto. And the kickoff to start the second half. The Ottawa Rough Riders brought it back to the 47-yard line. 2 plays unsuccessful at moving the football, and the Ottawa Rough Riders send out their punting unit. 36-13, the Rough Riders lead. Terry Baker hauls it down and kicks it towards the sidelines. There's a penalty flag on the play. The ball bounces back to the line of scrimmage. It's picked up by Chris Johnstone. Penalty flags fly again, as there were at least 2 players within that 5-yard area. But there was a penalty flag upfield prior to that ball being handled by the Eskimos. Holding call against Edmonton and no yards against the Ottawa Rough Riders. Statistically, the Ottawa Rough Riders 387 first half yards, and although Damon Allen only completed 8 passes, he passed for 256 yards, over 30 yards on average per completion.
Well, Andre Francis was talking today about the CFL is a big play league, and that statistic you just read, 8 completions for 256 yards, tells you big plays through the air. When you gamble and blitz, you're susceptible to big plays, and that's what's hurt them so far. But as you say, Don, the game is not over yet. It really isn't. The Eskimos know how to win, and that's very important when you're facing a deficit.
Tracy Ham below 50% in completions, hitting on 9 of 19 through the first 30 minutes of play. He was shaken up on the final play of the first half, but obviously he is well enough to return. He throws inside to Marco Sincar. He too was shaken up in the first half. He makes the catch for a first down. Brett Young was there for the tackle. Scott?
Well, Don, the least of Tracy Ham's concern at the half was that he couldn't make it over to live at the half to be our guest. He took a blow to the back, the Eskimos say, had the wind knocked out of him on the final play of the first half. His lower rib cage is a bit sore. His motion is not restricted. Obviously, they feel that if they're going to win, he has to play.
And he's throwing for Craig Ellis. And that takes the ball down to the 29.
When you have a chance to sack a quarterback and keep him contained, you have to do it. Tracy Ham, with his athletic ability, escaped the rush of Pat Wayne and got outside. And when he did, that's the result. A big play can happen. And these guys know how to play. Watch the ball thrown, running to his left. He lays it out. Ellis goes up and makes the catch. So it takes probably a loss into a first down in scoring position.
From the 29, first and 10. And this is for Keith Wright. He can't catch up with it. He was being covered by Hunter. It will be second and 10 from the 29. One of the things the coach has told us about Tracy Ham, he is getting rid of the ball much quicker this year. Many times his passes are released in 1.2, 1.5 seconds. And one of the reasons he is getting rid of it quicker this year is reading on his drop rather than setting up before reading defenses.
When he takes the ball from center, coming back, if he sees it, what's going on, he can stop and throw the ball. So he makes that read quick and gets rid of it quick. It's hard to sack him.
Here comes the blitz, and they dump it off to Taylor. He'll score.
Now, if you look real quick, all the Ottawa linebackers will be talking to one another because somebody made a mistake. 3 receivers, the linebacker is responsible for Taylor. I don't know which one because no one covered him, but no one should ever be that wide open in man coverage.
Scott Flagel was blitzing from his safety position, and there was nobody in the middle.
Look at him. He sees it. He just takes it and drops back and dumps it into the middle. Taylor catches it. There's nobody there. Somebody blew the coverage because you should never have a man that wide open, and Edmonton took advantage of a situation. Facing second down, they come out of a scramble and make a big play, and it results in a touchdown.
Don't ever underestimate the Edmonton Eskimos as McElready adds the point after. And the Eskimos have closed to within 16 with 11:58 remaining in the third quarter. Reggie Taylor led the CFL in rushing last year with 1,503 yards, but he's got a good pair of hands as well.
There you saw Tracy Ham as he was dropping back. He knew that someone was going in the middle and they were going to be open, so he started to release the ball. That's what you're talking about, Don. When he's reading as he's coming back, he's able to make that read and get rid of the ball. You know, Tracy Ham took that back injury last week in the BC game, and on that play where I really didn't like to see him run the football in that last play, he got hit in the back again, and then it's going to hurt a little bit, but he's back. He's all right.
In just 4 plays, the Eskimos moved 79 yards for the major score. Cornelius Reddick on the kickoff return. He's done an excellent job in that capacity tonight. Mike McLean and Larry Rock were there to prevent him from going any further than the 47-yard line.
Well, they've had field position every kickoff. It's been out around that 45, 50-yard line, and that's about all you can ask out of anybody.
Very impressive first-half statistics for Damon Allen. 256 yards, 4 touchdown throws, 2 of them to Stefan Jones.
We're going to see another one, too. There's nobody back deep in the middle again. Here comes Mark Norman now.
And Jeff Braswell stops Reg Barnes right in his tracks. As a matter of fact, he may have lost a yard.
What I've been watching down now in the third quarter, Ottawa's had the ball twice. They've run on first down, throw on second. You know, they didn't do that early. They're going to, Edmonton's going to come after them a lot. They're going to get a lot of pressure because Edmonton must create turnovers. They have to get the ball in their court, get things on their side. Here they come again.
Kenneth Brer can't catch up with the ball. He was being covered by Clark, and Enos Jackson was coming over to help out. So it's 2 and out on both possessions in this second half for the Ottawa Rough Riders. The Edmonton Eskimos, in their lone possession in the second half, scored a touchdown. 36-20 is the score in favor of Ottawa.
They come after him with everybody, and that was great coverage by Clark. And then when the ball's in the air, Jackson is all good defensive backs will do go help. You never know when the ball be tipped up and you can intercept it.
Darrell Colbert will be coming from the left side. The Eskimos feel they can get to one of these punts of Terry Baker. And Colbert is the man they're looking to get through. He was blocked out effectively that time, and again the ball takes a couple of weird bounces and will draw a penalty flag as Mike McLean raced back to pick up the football. He had 2 players trapped within that 5-yard area.
No doubt about it. See, what's happening is the snaps from center are not good for Baker. And when a kicker has to change his stance, when the ball comes, he can catch it and step it and kick it. But what he's having to do is hurry. You don't have the form. You don't get the ball to turn over, and you get those bounces.
Ottawa number 53, 5-yard penalty on the bounce back. First down.
Because of the bounce back, it's a 5-yard penalty. Bruce Holmes is guilty of encroaching. 1st and 10 Edmonton. The ball is at the 30-yard line. 10:36 is the time remaining in the third quarter. 36-20 the score. Keith Wright goes wide left. Patrick Wayne wraps up Tracy Ham for a loss back at the 24.
Patrick Wayne's had a big game again, coming from the outside. He got there in a hurry. Tracy Ham wanted to dump it quick. He's looking to throw. Now he has to pull it down, and Wayne is free. Doesn't make any mistakes this time. Last time he got in, he missed him. This time he held on to him.
Patrick Wayne, who wears that dark visor, looks something like Darth Vader as he moves out in that black uniform. I'm sure Tracy Ham felt he was something of a villain on that last play. Pass complete to Blake Marshall. He's cut down by Derek White up at the 40-yard line. That will be close to a first down.
Ottawa line up on the line of scrimmage, everybody up. Showed blitz and then ran out of there into a deep zone. Tracy Ham found the short receiver, Marshall, in the flat. I think he fooled him a little bit. I think he was looking to go deep, but when they dropped out of there, he took what you give him. Don't be greedy.
The highest scoring game these two teams have been involved in took place in 1986 when Edmonton won by a score of 49-39. 88 points were registered that night, and the way they scored points in the first half, that mark is in danger of being broken tonight.
You see Coach Terragelli right now. He's interested in how much is it? I think that's the question that's asked most to the press box. How far to go? How much is it?
This nigga gonna come kick me tonight.
I'll tell you about that crazy shit. Stop
Well,
that.
they consult with the coaches upstairs before making the decision. They are going after it on third down. Blake Marshall gets the call and should have sufficient yardage.
Well, Bruce Holmes playing very well at that linebacker position, though. Lined up right over the center. He keys that fullback. Wherever that fullback goes, he's going to try to fill that second gap to the outside and hit it right on the nose. He hit it, but Marshall's just big enough to win the battle falling forward.
First contact by a former teammate, John Mandarich, the Juice, who writes a column in an Ottawa newspaper. Reggie Taylor following Trevor Bowles. He put a hand right on Trevor Bowles' back as he turned that corner, and Bowles did a good job of lead blocking for him.
Well, you tell those running backs, when that tackle pulls, get on his hip. He's your personal protector. Well, if you have your hand on him, you can't get much closer. Coach Farragelli telling us yesterday, Trevor Bowles had the best training camp of any of his offensive linemen, and he has got some good offensive linemen.
If you're going to follow anybody, it's wise to follow a guy 6'5", 280 pounds.
Anywhere he wants to go, Taylor will be there.
Blake Marshall on the draw play. Bruce Holmes made the hit at the 53-yard line. 8 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
He took that one right on the thigh. That's Charlie horse time. Bruce Holmes he was being blocked, and at the last second come out from around and got underneath Blake Marshall and put a pretty good hit on him.
Marshall goes out. Chris Johnston comes in for the Edmonton Eskimos. A lot of people were surprised last year when Holmes was dropped from the Toronto Argonaut roster and sent over to the Ottawa Rough Riders.
Well, I think you're right. A lot of people were, because he played pretty well for Toronto last year. And Ottawa, I know talking to Goldman last year when we were here, he was very happy to get him because he has experience.
Bruce Holmes, out of the University of Minnesota, 6'3", 235 pounds. Second and 5, Edmonton. Tracy Ham is being pressured by Miller and dropped by Holmes.
You could see Holmes right up on the line of scrimmage, ready to go, and then coming from the outside was Miller. So they got the pressure. As you say, he had to step away from Miller, and when he did, Holmes is there. The pressure is coming inside and out. They run right over Reggie Taylor. Here comes Miller. He ducks under that, but number 53 is waiting on him. That's all you can ask. Get outside pressure to force him up and have inside there to knock him down.
Big defensive play by Miller and Holmes, forcing the Eskimos into a punting situation. Ottawa has already blocked one Edmonton punt tonight, and Brett Young, coming from the right side, came close to getting another. This time, however, McAreedy gets the kick away. Stacey Dawsey takes it at the 25. And And his forward progress is halted at the 33 by Mike McLean. 7:18 is the time remaining in the third quarter.
The latest in eye safety in pro football comes from iTech in the form of these eye shields. They come in 3 different colors. You could wear this dark one, which gives you the Darth Vader look, allows you to make a bit of a fashion statement. Actually, it's for the sunglass effect, to cut down on the glare of the sun. They come in 2 other colors, and Trevor Bowles of the Eskimos might consider investing in one of these. He took a finger in the eye late in the first half of this game and had to miss about the last 5 minutes of the second quarter, but he's back in now, Don.
Scott, Ron, and I took a vote. We suggest that you should buy one of those.
I bet.
I'd wear them. If I think a lineman should wear them with those fingers flying around. Saves those eyes.
1st and 10 from the 33. Stephan Jones has a first down at the 45.
Well, you don't throw it any better as he comes out. Avrera runs a 4 yards and into the sidelines, and then just down and slant to the inside. And all you look at is that halfback, number 16. If you see his tail running away, throw it right off his hip into the hole. Andre Francis can cover it, but he can't stop it.
1st and 10 Ottawa from the 45. Now decides to run with the ball. There's a penalty flag. Braswell is cut down. A good block by Stacey Dawsey. There was a penalty flag down around the 35-yard line. Allen looked deep initially, pulled it down, and it's a holding call against Edmonton. It would have been a pass interference call probably had Damon Allen opted to throw the ball, but when he took off with it, the man who was held, Stacey Dawsey, came back to throw a good block.
He wants to throw it, but good coverage. Now he's just got to try to place to survive.
Number 16, decline. First down.
Damon Allen saves Jeff Braswell right here. When he points, Braswell turns and sees him coming. If he doesn't see him coming, he gets one of those blindside shots.
First down, Ottawa, now at the Edmonton 43-yard line. Penalty flags again. There was movement at the line of scrimmage prior to the ball being snapped. Middle linebacker Danny Bass gets a quarterback sack, but it may be wiped out by a penalty flag. Let's wait. 6:14 is the time remaining in the third quarter. 36-20, Ottawa leads Edmonton.
Procedure, Ottawa number 84, declined, second down.
Stacey Dawsey moved prematurely. That brings the ball back to the 49.5. It's 1st and 15. Pardon me, 2nd and 15. A block from Conrad and gets the first down. A 28-yard gain for Damon Allen. They talk about the scrambling ability of Tracy Ham. There's nothing wrong with Damon Allen.
That play is designed to get him outside with the football, all the way out. Now it's just his ability. Get a good block, runs away from Braswell, and now he's got a blocker. Conrad does a good job picking him up, and now just fall forward. Make sure you fall down and get the first. Excellent job of running. But that play is designed to get him out wide. Let him do what he can do best.
He's carried 4 times for 83 yards. This time he gives it to Reggie Barnes. He's got another first down. And more importantly, as far as the Ottawa fans are concerned, he hangs on to the football.
This is that statue play. Allen will fake the pass, hand it off to Barnes coming around. He uses his lead blocker, which in this case, number 23, Jed Tommy. There's the fake and handoff. The lead blocker is number 23, Jed Tommy. Right there makes the block. And now you just got to try to tackle the big man. He gets it down to around the 5-yard line.
Barnes now has 110 rushing yards. Last week against Hamilton, he had 189. Now compare the rushing performance of Taylor and Barnes. Barnes has also picked up 74 passing yards. And here's the touchdown toss to Conrad.
corner, 47, Larry Ruck comes on a blitz. The halfback, number 16, is also coming in expecting run. And when Conrad goes out there is nobody open. So Clark is up. He doesn't play it right, and the linebacker is blitzing. That's a big hole.
Dean Dorsey adds the point after, and the Ottawa Rough Riders have regained their 23-point lead. Damon Allen with his 5th touchdown pass of the ball game, finding David Conrad uncovered at the goal line as they capped a 77-yard drive to take a 43-20 lead.
Now let's watch him. You see Illivan coming out the block, but look at this. Conrad out there wide open. All you got to do is get it in his hands.
That ties an Ottawa club record that was set by Chris Isaac on July 17th, 1982. 5 touchdown passes in a game. Henry Williams trying to get outside. Troy Wilson forced him to come back inside, and Wilson is brought down up at the 48-yard line.
58 yards, the kick, take him on.
You know, the Eskimos can score points, but they have to be very concerned this year at the rate they're giving up points. They now, in less than 3 games, have yielded 102 points. In all of last year, when they went 16-2, they only gave up 302 points.
Well, you have to start wondering, when you start giving up 40 points a game, you know, you shouldn't win too many. I don't think, anyway.
Hunter is the injured Ottawa player. They can ill afford to lose anyone out of that secondary. Hopper was hurt last week against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And he was replaced by Derek White. Now Hunter is going to the sidelines, having more difficulties with that right hand or maybe wrist. About the 5 touchdown passes that Damon Allen has thrown so far in the game. You're wondering about the league record. Joe Zuger at Hamilton holds it with 8. Saskatchewan at Hamilton on October 15th, 1962. Blake Marshall taken out of bounds by Patrick Wayne. Patrick Wayne has had a strong ball game defensively for the Ottawa Rough Riders. They're concerned with the right wrist of Daniel Hunter. Kyle Hall is in the ball game.
Edmonton's gone to that hurry-up offense and try to keep things going.
Here comes Bruce Holmes. The pass complete to Taylor. And Taylor is cut down by Cornelius Reddick.
And again, you see Bruce Holmes in there pressuring Tracy Ham. 2 flags.
3:39 remains in the 3rd quarter.
One of them, 3 flags on the field. One of them's going to be a holding call against Edmonton. I don't know what the other one is.
Scott Flegel was having words with several Edmonton players as the play was made directly in front of the Edmonton bench.
They just called him for roughing Scott Flegel. They call 14 for roughing in Ottawa. We'll just have to listen. But it's going to be a holding call. We'll see who it is.
Holding, Edmonton number 54. Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Ottawa 14. First down.
So that gives them a first down at the 45. Scott?
Well, Don, the Rough Riders are short receivers, with Wilcox having broken his collarbone, and now they're short 1 cornerback. They believe that Daniel Hunter, their cornerback, has broken his wrist as a result of that collision he was engaged in a few moments ago.
Tracy Ham being chased by Holmes, and he's taken out of bounds after a gain of about 2 yards. Cornelius Reddick is in playing that corner spot vacated by Daniel Hunter as the result of the injury to Hunter. So Reddick is seeing double duty tonight operating as both a wide receiver and a defensive back. John Mandarich, a former Edmonton Eskimo, over at that Edmonton bench, avoiding contact with his former coach, Joe Faragelli. Ham is throwing deep for Keith Wright. He's got it.
Don, we said in the opening that Scott Flagel has a tendency to gamble. Now they're sitting in a zone defense, and Scott Flagel should have been back there. He got up, hanging around up where he shouldn't, and Tracy Ham just lofted it over his head and let Wright run and get it. And that's too big a play to give up at this stage of the game.
43-yard touchdown pass from Tracy Ham to Keith Wright.
All the action in front. Good job up front. Allows him to step up. You see the ball thrown. Interference, too. He grabbed him before the ball got there. It's good concentration. Excellent throw and catch.
Point after by McAreedy. And it's now a 49-27 ball game. A 43-27, excuse me. The Ottawa Rough Riders leading Edmonton.
Let's go, let's go. Let's go, three more.
Remember last week they had a 9-point lead late in the fourth quarter when Hamilton beat them. And you know what? When you lose a couple games like that, on the sideline, subconsciously, sometimes you start wondering what can go wrong. And when you start thinking like that, it goes wrong. Edmonton, on the other hand, they can still win. They're champions. They're still talking about we still have time to win it. But there you see the ball in the air, right on the money. Good concentration, good hand. Reach out with the hands and grab it. So again, this game's not over yet.
Kyle Hall, number 30, in at that safety position as a result of the injuries in the secondary. Stacey Dawsey on the kickoff return from the 21-yard line. He escaped Michael Soles, but couldn't get away from Brian Walling and is stopped at the 36-yard line, 2:58. Is the time remaining in the third quarter.
Right now, the Ottawa Football Club have got to get the ball moving, just make some first downs. First downs is the key to a football game. If you make enough of them, you score. If you don't, you give up the ball and the other team gets a chance.
Great ball, Tracy.
The Edmonton Eskimos, as we have said several times during this telecast, are capable of scoring quickly. They needed just 4 plays to put it in the end zone. Capper was the touchdown throw, Ham to Wright. Damon Allen looking for Reddick, intercepted. Andre Francis following Clark over to the sidelines along with Bass. And he's finally taken out of bounds at the 19-yard line by Reggie Barnes.
He's throwing the ball to Reddick, which is a slot back on the wide side of the field. And who intercepted it but Andre Francis, who plays the corner on the other side. Now watch the ball being thrown and coming from the far left side. When Allen throws it up, the defensive back go get the ball in the air. And that's what Andre Francis did. And now they're in great field position down around the 20-yard line.
43-27 the score, 2:25 remaining in the third quarter. First and 10. Edmonton with 4 receivers to the left side. The handoff goes to Chris Johnstone, the lone back, and he carries to the 15.
When they put that 4th receiver out of here, they're getting those linebackers to shift, and they try to run inside with the draw. Ottawa got a good play that time from number 45, who kind of fell off inside to make the hit.
Dwayne Mandruzia. And an equipment change for Andre Francis at the Edmonton bench. 1:46 remaining in the third quarter. Movement at the line of scrimmage. This will draw a penalty flag. The ball goes to Keith Wright, knocked away by Troy Wilson on an excellent maneuver by the Ottawa defensive back.
That was excellent coverage by Troy Wilson. The offside against Ottawa, I think, is going to hurt him, but he knew he had a free shot, and he took it, tried to score with it.
It appeared as though Patrick Wayne moved prematurely.
Look at Troy Wilson. He looks up, finds the ball, and at the last second goes up.
35.
Left hand.
Second down repeated.
Just at the top of the screen, you could see the movement by Patrick Wayne as Ham, with that free shot, tried to lob it into the end zone to Keith Wright. So they repeat the second down with 1 yard to go. Chris Johnstone gets the first down as he dives to about the 8. 1:16 remaining in the third quarter. It's first and goal, Edmonton. Steve Goldman looks concerned. I think he has valid reason to be a little concerned because there is still plenty of time for an explosive Edmonton offense to score points.
15 minutes in the fourth quarter. A lot of plays are running that fourth quarter. What he'd like to see now is a big defensive effort, come up with a turnover and take some heat off.
Patrick Wayne tries to catch Ham, but Tracy finds the end zone for another Edmonton touchdown. And suddenly, the Edmonton Eskimos are within reach.
That's athletic ability that scored that touchdown. They put the blitz on him, trying to pressure him up the middle, but they didn't get contained on him outside. You see, Patrick Wayne didn't get wide enough, and Tracy Ham, with a great running ability, gets outside of it, and there's no one there, and he'll take it in every time. That's just good athletic ability that Tracy Ham's there.
43-33. And the point after to come off the toe of Ray McAreedy with 40 seconds remaining in the third quarter. So now it's a 9-point game as Joe Farragelli has seen his team come back in the second half. What do you think he may have said to his team in the dressing room at halftime?
Yeah. All you say is that, you know, the first half is over. Just 30 minutes of football, and if you're the champions that I think you are, we'll go out and prove it. We will come back. Don't rattle, stay cool, and move the football. Play the game you're capable of playing. That's about all you can say. And then you put the ball in the players' hands and hope they do the job for you.
Well, we have seen some wild scoring football games this year in the CFL, but this may be the ultimate.
Well, you know, Ottawa come out, they built that lead up early, and they got the fans involved, they got excited. Edmonton's tried to be very professional, just stay at it, do the things you do best, cut into the lead, don't try to do it all at once. And now they're back in the football game with 15 minutes to play. Well, a little more than 15, but we got a whole quarter of 15 minutes to play.
You know, with the temperature still at 26 degrees, there are going to be some tired football players after this game. One of them will be Cornelius Reddick, who is seeing action both ways. Each time he gets a return, he seems to get very close to that midfield stripe.
That 50-yard line has been just about where they've taken possession every time they've returned a kick tonight.
Well, it's up to Damon Allen now to get that Ottawa offense rolling again. 35 seconds is the time remaining in the third quarter. He wants to bounce back from that previous offensive series where he threw the interception into the arms of Andre Francis.
Yeah, he's got to stay relaxed. Go out and do the things that you were doing before. Don't start to get a little bit, play a little bit scared. You know, don't take the chances. Just go attack them. Play like you did in the first quarter.
They give the ball to Barnes, and Barnes squirms out to the 53-yard line. Jeff Braswell managed to trip him up. 11 seconds remaining in the quarter now. This should be the final play.
Try to run that counter that they had success with in the first half. But when you run it now, the Eskimos now are applying pressure. They're coming with linebackers. There's not going to be the big holes up there that there was early in the game.
Second and 5. Allen looking to throw. It's incomplete. End of the third quarter. Rossi was the target. The pass fell short. And Ottawa will kick to start the fourth quarter. It's 3rd and 5 Ottawa to start the fourth quarter. A punting situation for the Rough Riders. Terry Baker stands at his own 39-yard line. Michel LeMay got a good snap away that time, his best of the night. And good downfield coverage on Henry Williams, and they bring him down at the 29-yard line. Look at the offense in this game. 469 yards for Ottawa, 380 for the Edmonton Eskimos. They're going to go over 1,000 yards for total offense by the two teams in this ball game, almost certainly.
Well, no doubt about it. I think what, about 840 right now. 15 minutes to play. We're going to see that. The turnovers are the biggest. 12 turnovers in this game so far. Goldman talking to Damon Allen, number 9, and Ken Hobart, number 3. All his friends in Idaho are wondering when he's going to get in the game.
Yeah, he's got a big group watching in his bar, Hobie's Bar, via satellite tonight. We say hello to the gathering down there in Idaho. Reggie Taylor tripped as he was trying to cut and is brought down by Mike Lambrecht. Well, scoring 40 points in a game against the Ottawa Rough Riders is certainly nothing new for the Edmonton Eskimos. And they need more than 40. They'll probably need 50 if they're going to win this ballgame. One man is not going to bring down Tracy Ham. Two of them, one-on-one with Ham, were faked right out of position as he ran for a first down.
When he takes a step at him that freezes him, and then he uses his quickness and speed to just to run outside him. Watch him. He comes up, bang, fakes it, and he gets outside of number 75, Mandrich, and now he picks up a couple good blocks and just goes straight ahead and gets that first down and keeps that drive alive. They're going to measure it. I thought he made it.
He made it by almost a yard.
Yeah.
We could have told them that.
Yeah, they didn't ask.
Well, Ken Hobart is on the sidelines and ready to go into the ball game. He had some problems last year with Coach Goldman. He was telling us before the game tonight that he understands what he wants from him this year and is quite happy to fit into that mold.
Well, when you come into a team late, you don't know the offensive philosophy. That's the whole thing.
Reggie Taylor did the blocking as Craig Ellis took the pass and gets a first down. 26,411 at Lansdowne Park tonight.
Have to be enjoying this game. It's been up and down the field.
They've really been entertained, but right now, I'm sure they're wondering if Edmonton will come back. Here's Taylor, touchdown.
Tracy Ham just lofted that just as pretty. Caught him in that two deep defense. Reggie Taylor came out of the backfield and straight down the field. He just threw a perfect strike and it's all over. Now Ottawa's in trouble. Now they're in deep trouble.
57-yard touchdown strike. Reggie Taylor's second of the game from Tracy Ham.
Watch how open he is with the ball in the air. Nice catch. You'll see the two black jerseys at the side, which means those are the halfbacks that have to come and get him. Just not fast enough. Flego and Brent Young can't catch him. He goes in very easy.
We cautioned you, even when Ottawa led by 23, that this game wasn't over. And with McAreedy adding the point after, now just 2 points separate the Ottawa Rough Riders and the Edmonton Eskimos. We'll be back with the Edmonton kickoff after this.
Let's keep coming, man.
Well, we re-emphasize the ability of the Edmonton Eskimos to strike quickly. 4 plays, 82 yards, a 57-yard touchdown pass to Reggie Taylor.
Now, you remember back in the second quarter when I wanted to see him gamble on that 3rd down and 1. I just know this Eskimo club. Look at this. He's so far open. What you have is a 2-deep defense. Brett Young on one hash mark and Scott Flagel on the other, and he just split it, and Tracy Ham found him. That's reading the defense well and getting it to the open area. That's the weak spot of the defense, and he found it. But when they didn't gamble, I just know this Eskimo club is, they can play and they know how to win. Never, ever let up on them.
Stacey Dawsey on the return. He's got a bit of a hole and gets it out to the 54-yard line. Kevin Clark is there to make the tackle, but the ball was fumbled. Edmonton has recovered. Clark comes up with the ball.
The ball came loose on the sidelines. It came loose late. Not necessarily late, but before anyone saw it, it took a long time, and all of a sudden, you saw Eskimo make a mad dash for the ball, and they've got it again. See him running. See Sinkar and Clark in on the hit, along with Mike Hildebrand, number 24. But the ball popped loose. Tracy Ham's got excellent field position again.
First and 10 from the 53. Edmonton trailing by 2 points. Ham with time. Throws complete. Taylor will have 6 yards.
Playing a lot of zone defense now. That's what's allowing Reggie Taylor to get out into the pattern so well. That odd offensive line of the Eskimos right up front doing a great job of controlling that front four, and that's giving Ham time to throw again.
I think that front four may be growing a little weary.
Both sides are, but the defense has to rush outside, inside. It's tough on them. They do get tired, and tonight they've got to be dying a little bit.
They're not getting that pressure on Ham. Taylor trying to get the first down. He will be very close.
Just short a little bit, about a yard, but I think they'll go after it.
11:36 is the time remaining in the game. 43-41, Ottawa leads Edmonton.
They want to measure this. I don't think the official will let them. I don't think it's close enough to measure. I say it's about a yard and a half, but they're still going to go after it.
The ball is at the 45-yard line. A good yard and a half shy of a first down.
See, Tracy Ham went up and asked him, can we look at it? I mean, you do that to buy time for the coaches, but the referee looks at it. The ball's just over the line. They need to get all the way over. They need a yard and a half. This is a big play.
Third down gamble by the Eskimos. Blake Marshall. Michael Souls, I'm sorry, he breaks off tackle, and Michael Souls is finally bounced out of bounds at the 5-yard line.
Oh, the ball carrier.
Souls only wants to play when he can gain big yardage. Last week he breaks for about 45 yards. Tonight he breaks it again on his only carry so far. Did a good job. Hit in there and then bounced to the outside and made one good move and away he went. He did that for McGill quite a bit. There it is. Made the move and then cut inside of number 30, Kyle Hall. Flagel couldn't bring him down, so he showed good balance. Finally, he's knocked out of bounds just inside the 5.
Michael Souls played on that 1987 Vanier Cup team with McGill. He was the game MVP, and he was also Quebec Athlete of the Year in 1988. And the way they substitute, as we mentioned earlier, Marshall, Johnston, and Souls go in and out of the ball game. That time, Souls went in on that short yardage play, and what a run he made, carrying to the 5-yard line.
Well, it's amazing that the talent that they have. Souls, Johnstone, and Marshall, as you say, that any of them can start, all of them can play, and that's a coach's dream. I think it's a credit to the Eskimo organization, the way they bring the players along and show the confidence in them to allow them to substitute and go and play.
Well, there's so much joy and jubilation at that Ottawa bench earlier in the ball game. Now there's concern as the Eskimos threaten to take the lead for the first time. Tracy Ham will try and run it in. He falls at the 5.
Tripped that time. He faked that draw. He went back, he stuck the hand in and hit the ball at his hip. And then he tried to run outside with it, but he just tripped and fell.
Joe Farragelli was talking about Tracy Ham and how impressed he was with him during the offseason, with the time he spent coming into the office to study film, not on a regular basis, but whenever he had time, and he'd spend several hours studying film during the course of the winter months.
Well, that's how you learn. That's how you learn how to read defense.
Marco Sinkar cannot hang on in the end zone.
Complete.
Farragelli will send out the field goal unit as the Eskimos attempt to take the lead for the first time tonight. And what a comeback this has been by the Edmonton Eskimos.
Pick 3 points here and take the lead. That's a big lift to Edmonton. In Ottawa, not so much. They got to really right now be wondering. The thing about a young football team is you have to learn to win. And to come out now, if they can come back and win the football game tonight, it would be a big lesson for them. Because you have to learn to win, and it's a very difficult thing to do. You can get in front, but it doesn't necessarily mean you win. You got to learn how to control the clock and score points.
McAreedy with the field goal attempt, and it is good. So with 9:41 remaining, it's now 44-43. The Edmonton Eskimos ahead by a point.
I want to remind our viewers in the CFL on CBC that our next telecast is only 48 hours away. Matt Dunnigan and the Argos are in Hamilton to renew the Argo-Ticat rivalry. The Argos desperate not to go to 0-3, and the Ticats will be looking to improve their record to 2-1. It all starts at 7:30 Eastern. Don?
Scott, I'm wondering if Ottawa football fans are thinking they may have seen this before in 1981 in the Grey Cup game at Olympic Stadium in Montreal. The Rough Riders, huge underdogs, were down by 20 or ahead by 23 points at halftime, and the Eskimos came back to win 26-23. At halftime tonight, the Eskimos were ahead by 23 points.
Yeah, it's been one of those second halves, you know, a mistake at the wrong time, lose the momentum, big plays by the Eskimos. It takes everything to play this game, and you have to react to whatever the situation is. So far, Edmonton's done a better job in the second half.
Let me correct that. I believe I said the Eskimos were ahead by 23 points. They trailed by 23 at the halftime. 1st and 10. Ottawa at the 38-yard line. And this crowd, which was so noisy in the first half, is very quiet right now. Home run throw, a little too far for Cornelius Reddick. He has to be a tired football player going both ways.
That's awful tough. Returning kickoffs and, you know, leading the blocking if you don't have it, and then turn around and run 40, 50 yards on pass pattern. Receivers do an awful lot of running as it is.
And playing defense as well.
Yeah, we're in a tough situation right now, too. 2nd down and 10. They need they've got to get something going for them right here. They haven't had it. They had that one drive, and that's it. That's all they've done in the second half so far. It's a big, big series for them.
9:06 is the time remaining. 44-43. The Eskimos lead. Ball is fumbled on the exchange from center. Damon Allen never ever got it. The Eskimos signal they have recovered, but I think Damon Allen was there to grab that loose football. And Ottawa is now forced to punt.
Pulled away too soon. You see him leave without the football. You can't go anywhere till you get the ball. Very lucky to get it back. They do fall on it, but again, 3rd down.
So Terry Baker stands back at the 20-yard line for this 3rd down kick. Williams waits for it at the 39.
Watch out.
He fumbles the ball. Ottawa gets it back. Reggie Barnes. 8:34 is the time remaining. Ottawa regains possession. Well, some players, when they fumble the ball, will attempt to avoid the coach over on the sidelines. But when Williams went over, Joe Farragelli was smiling, patting him on the back.
Well, you know he's trying to do it best. He just got to hold on to the ball. You're never going to question a guy for trying to score. And that's what he was trying to do, and there it comes. And again, they get another break, and the football. But again, big, big series. It goes out right there. Knocked it out of his hands. Jed Tommy, number 23, gets that right arm in there, and the ball is loose, and they have the ball again. This is well, the last series was big, but they got it back. They've got to move the football right now, or they're in a whole lot of trouble, I believe.
8:32 is the time remaining. Damon Allen will try and run for a 1st down. And he will be about 2 yards short.
Tackle made by Norman.
Actually, they'll spot the ball at the 43-yard line, so he's about 3 yards shy.
Second and 4.
Wondering right now, Steve Golden, if Damon Allen can't get anything going on this series, might be thinking of a quarterback change.
I know it's hard to think about when you put that many points on the board, but you might have to.
Deep for Reddick. Penalty. Interference by Enos Jackson.
No doubt about the call either. That's a great call. He was being interfered with on the sideline.
Forward pass interference. Edmonton number 29. First down.
First down, Riders.
Go to the sideline. When you get to the sideline, turn upfield. The ball's in the air. You see him bring that right hand down and grab his arm. You have to call it. It's a good call by the official right on the spot.
So the penalty gives the Rough Riders 1st and 10 at the 38 of the Eskimos. Handoff inside to Barnes. He fumbles the ball, but the whistle had gone.
Well, the Eskimos showing a blitz, had everybody out, and they just fake the toss and run that trap again. And it should be Gerald Roper coming across to make the trap block, but they spring him into the secondary again. There it comes. There's Roper, makes the trap, and then Barnes just uses his strength and ability to pick the hole. And very fortunate that the ball was on the ground, but he did drop it again.
That carry for 19 yards. This is Conrad. He drives to the 13-yard line.
I'll tell you, you have to be impressed. Ottawa's met the challenge. We said this is the biggest series of the ball game, and they put some first downs together. They're in field goal range. I know they want the touchdown, but if they're down there, they should come away from here with some points.
Well, they got the break they needed when Williams fumbled on the return. Now they have to try and capitalize and attempt to regain the lead. On second down, Conrad again to the 1.
Line up in an I formation with Conrad in front of Barnes, and Allen just turned. He fakes the toss to get the linebackers flowing, hands to Conrad back underneath. Well executed play. Brian Yellowburn and Yellowenko on the backside of that play make the blocks for him, and Conrad just turns and heads to the goal line. Good job up front.
They rule that he touched down at the 2, so it's 1st and goal from that point. 5:57 remaining. Conrad and Barnes are the two backs in that I formation. Allen gives to Conrad, touchdown. Penalty flag on the play.
Offside, Edmonton number 16, penalty decline, touchdown.
The Ottawa Rough Riders now looking for their 50th point.
They fake the toss, hand off to Conrad, right over Gerald Roper. Right in behind Roper and Rob Smith. They win the battle on the line of scrimmage, and Conrad just carries into the end zone.
Well, that breaks the record for the highest scoring game between these two teams. In 1986, they scored 88 points. They've now scored 94. And the league record for most points in a game by both teams, 103. Hamilton and Calgary, 55-48. Calgary over Hamilton in 1982.
We did that one up at McMahon Stadium. I remember that one. But watch it. There it is again. Fake the toss. You up, move them off the line of scrimmage. Get them down. And then Conrad just right over the top. Herb Damon, Gerald Roper, Rob Smith. They've done a great job tonight up there.
But still, 5:41 remaining in the game. Plenty of time for the Eskimos to score.
We got time for 3 more touchdowns or 4 to rate their going up tonight. This is fun, isn't it? Where else would you rather be tonight?
Well, the fans wanted to see offense in this 1990 season. They're getting it in spades.
coaches wouldn't mind seeing a little defense. You know, it's got to drive defense coaches crazy.
And here's a guy who can drive defenses crazy, Henry Williams. He got back to the 54 of the Ottawa Rough Riders. Dangerously close to breaking that one for a touchdown scamper.
Every time he touches it, you have that chance. You have that possibility. Got up inside, just uses his power. He's got power to go with that speed. Jumps, twists, turns, and he's got the Eskimos right midfield ready to go to work.
Keith Wright, wide to the right. Colbert to the left. 1st and 10, Edmonton. Tracy Ham over the middle to Reggie Taylor. This should be another first down, or at least very close to it at the 44. Stopped by Pat Miller. 5:10 the time remaining.
What you have to be impressed with Ham right here. He took his look downfield. He didn't see what he wanted. Dumped the ball to the back. I mean, the ball's only in the air about 4 yards, but he turns it into almost a 10-yard gain. They're going to have to measure for a first down. Staying calm, staying cool, stay in control, and that's what Tracy Ham's doing.
No, there were many people who thought that the Edmonton Eskimos tonight would exceed 40 points. I wonder how many football fans across the country thought that the Ottawa Rough Riders would hit 50.
I really don't think I did. You know, 50 points, I never expect anybody to score 50 points.
I wonder what the over-under was tonight.
Wasn't enough.
Blake Marshall on the 2nd and short yardage call gets the first down. Again, as we said earlier, Joe Farragelli will be pleased with the way his team has scored points this year, but I think he's more than a little concerned with the number of points they've given up. You know, at this rate, they'd give up over 600 points this year.
I know, and then they got a good defense. You know, I look at all the scores this year. It's going to be a tough year on defense. I really believe that. I think the quarterbacks, the receivers, the teams are so close that they're going to score.
Blake Marshall breaks the first contact and then is hauled down at the 35-yard line.
Again, didn't have what he wanted downfield. He held on, and he had to get rid of it. Bang, hit the back and let him run with it.
3:59 is the time left. Steve Goldman saw his team build up that huge first half lead. Joe Farragelli saw his club come back in the second half to take the lead and then relinquish it, 50-44. The Ottawa Rough Riders lead, 3:38 remaining in the game. It's 2nd and 2, Edmonton. Chris Johnstone this time gets the first down to the 30-yard line. And again, the Eskimos utilize all 3 of those Canadian running backs. Johnston, Blake Marshall, Michael Soles.
Well, you know, I know they take turns playing. Wonder if they decide in the huddle who's carrying the ball, too. You know, they all run well and they all block well. That's all you want.
I don't think there's a team in the CFL with more of their original draft choices on the roster than the Edmonton Eskimos.
Well, that's the organization. That's their attitude and the way they approach it, and they do a great job.
Tracy Ham might be forced to run. No, he's going to throw. Colbert makes the catch. Out of bounds.
Craig Ellis is protesting. He felt he should have had it because he got knocked out, but the referee said, no, he's out of bounds.
2:53 is the time remaining. Let's pause for this message. Those numbers at the top right of your screen indicate the time remaining, not the total number of points have scored in this game, but it's close.
We're getting there. I just find it hard to believe to look and see a team with 50 points and in danger of losing. I don't know how that can happen. I know the scores get closer and more defense as you get later in the season and the weather changes and everything. But 94 points 3 minutes ago is still a lot of them.
Scoring 50 and losing could only happen in Ottawa.
That's about right. You know, I mean, you know, they lose in overtime, then they have a 9-point lead and blow it. I mean, here we are, 3 minutes left in the game. They got a lead with 50 points on the board and still have to fight.
Fighting tooth and nail to avoid defeat, leading 50-44, 2:45 remaining, 2nd and 10 Edmonton. Ham trying to get away from
might be. And what happened? They put 3 receivers to the wide side. That requires Marco Sincar to stay in and block. Marco Sincar had to block Wayne. He's too big for him. He got outside, and when Tracy Hand tried to outrun him, he just got that big right hand on him and pulled him down. Good defensive play by Patrick Wayne. Watch it, right at the top of the screen. See, Sincar is just not big enough. Doesn't slow him down. There's that right hand on the shoulder pads, and he hangs on to him. And they have to punt it. They can't kick the field goal, so that could be the biggest play of the game. Took him right out of field goal range.
Patrick Wayne, a product of Simon Fraser University, who has played a strong football game tonight for Ottawa. Low snap to McAreedy. This kick will bounce down to the 5-yard line. Stacey Dawsey making sure he hangs onto the football as he fights up to the 10. 2:18 is the time remaining. Still plenty of time for the Eskimos unless the Ottawa Rough Riders can put together some first downs.
Well, I mean, sure, they gave up the ball 2:18, but they can get this ball back still with about 1 minute and 30 seconds left if everything goes right. Ottawa needs to make first downs. Now, do you throw it or do you run it? Isn't it fun being quarterback? Let's see what he does. Let's see what David Allen does with 2:18 left and the ball in his 10-yard line. I think he almost has to run it on first down. Has to. With Reggie Barnes.
They give to Conrad. They've had success working that pitch to Barnes and handing off to Conrad.
Make that pitch outside and get that linebacker running and cut in behind it. Middle of that line for the Ottawa Rough Riders has done a good job tonight. 2nd down 4, they got 6. It's a big one right here. If you have a play that you can throw, a pass, and hit it, and know you can hit it, throw it. Otherwise, you better run it.
They aren't going to get the first down.
And that's tough. Now, see if they come after him.
Blue and Walker brought down Barnes.
3rd down.
Where are they going to spot the football?
I don't know.
The Rough Riders were a little hesitant in moving on to the field, thinking that perhaps they would be close enough, but I don't think they would gamble, certainly not in this position on the field.
No, they need almost 2 yards. Kick the football percentages. The problem with this is that snap from center, they've got to get it back there. They've had problems with it tonight. Terry Baker needs a good punt. He has not had a good punt tonight.
Michael Lammy is the 3rd down snapper. Edmonton has been trying to get Colbert through. He'll be coming from the right side. Low snap. They're going to concede the safety touch. Not a bad call.
Now, because it's only going to bring it down to 4 points, you're still okay. They still need a touchdown. Not a bad call at all. Good call.
1:34 remaining in the game. It's 50-46, and that total represents the 2nd highest ever in the CFL for both teams.
50, Edmonton 46.
And that was Montreal over Hamilton, 82-14 in 1956. And I think Art Darch, who works with us in the broadcast booth, played with Hamilton in that 1956 game.
The question is, was he on offense or defense? One way he was on the field a long time, and the other way he's never on the field.
No, they can scrimmage.
Okay, let's see what they're going to do here. Oh, I think you'd have him kick off. 35. Well, okay, you know, minute and a half. 4-point lead. They must score a touchdown. The key play here is going to be the kickoff. And again, they've been kicking to Giz Williams all night. I don't know. Would you kick it to him again?
1:34 remaining. I don't think you'd attempt a short kickoff.
No, this isn't the time. No, I don't think so.
50-46. Ottawa leads Edmonton. 1:34 is the time remaining.
This is when you'd like, I look down, I think I'd like to line it, hit a line drive, try to kick it right at the 2nd row of people and have it hit the ground and maybe just bounce. You know, try anything, but man, those 2 guys back there are dangerous returners. You got to cover. This is when you get down there and get the job done.
The Eskimos need a touchdown to win. Colbert from the 20-yard line. stopped at the 32. Good coverage by the Rough Riders. 1:29 is the time left. Brett Young was there to make the tackle.
Excellent job by Brett Young. You saw Colbert coming across the field just looking for a place to cut in, and every time he decided to go, he'd see another black jersey appear, and Brett Young finally brought him down. Minute and 29 seconds is a lot of time for a quarterback like Tracy Ham, but Ottawa knows it.
He has certainly improved his statistics in the second half. Clock will not start until the ball is snapped. The gizmo is wide right. Ham is under some pressure. Here comes Miller, and Miller with a great one-handed effort pulls him down.
And a great job by Greg Stuman to read the screen. They wanted to go back and set that screen up and then drop it off, and Greg Stuman never moved. All right, here comes Miller. As you say, outstanding job of pursuit. Gets that left arm and pulls Ham out of bounds. But the reason Ham couldn't throw it, Greg Stuman, number 45, did a great job. So the defense is coming up big when they have to.
It's 2nd and 6, Edmonton. Blake Marshall gets the first down.
That's a pretty good catch. Ball thrown low, down around the knees. Marshall went down and got it. Going to have the first down. Moving the sticks. 1:15, first down. Better get ready. They should be on the ball.
Clock is running. The Eskimos are using a lot of time here.
No, he got an injury up here. Pat Miller, 38, is injured, down on one knee. He was walking toward the sideline, having a hard time, and he just finally went down to his knee. And you know this, they don't want to stop the clock, so he had to be injured. There's no way they want to stop it.
And they didn't want to see Miller go out of the ball game either, because he must stay out for at least 3 plays under the new rule this year in the CFL.
Well, I'll tell you, Paul McGowan coming in for him is a pretty good linebacker in his own right. So that, you know, if you're going to have to lose somebody, I want that guy going in, because he's a good one. But Miller was having a little bit of trouble. He was shaking his head. He couldn't get anyone's attention.
He's one tired football player as he heads off to that Ottawa bench.
Well, there's a lot of tired football. This humidity and a score like this type of game drains you.
But you've got a fresh linebacker in McGowan coming into the ball game. I don't know whether that's an advantage or not.
You look around and say, is there anybody here not tired? And the only guy put up his hand to be Hobart. You know?
Warren Jones, the Edmonton backup quarterback.
Well, we'll let those two go play.
They reset the clock to 1:15.
And it's moving.
Deep for Williams. Intercepted.
Who else?
Troy Wilson come up with his second interception. He took a lot of time off the clock.
I thought he was running a figure-8 drill out there. He just kept running around and around. Who else would come up with it when you really need it? The guy last year was sensational for them, and tonight you can't ask him to do any more. A big interception. I think that'll do it for him now. Great play by Troy Wilson.
50 seconds remaining. As Troy Wilson, who has been all around that football tonight, 2 interceptions and 2 fumble recoveries, may have saved the game for the Rough Riders on that play.
If I was Craig Ellis, you saw him, he should just stay over there because he'll come back to you.
Conrad. Both hands wrapped tightly around that football as the clock goes to 47 seconds. Wilson had 2 interceptions last week in a losing cause against the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
You have right now, Edmonton just sent in 2 defensive linemen. The linebacker took out 2 secondary people. You have guts to throw a post. You have guts to throw the ball downfield. I'll tell you what, you're going to have nobody back here. You're going to have some open areas if you want to take the chance. I don't think you should, but I'll tell you, you take them out of there.
I don't think you want to stop the clock by throwing it, do you?
Oh, no, you want to stop it.
I mean, isn't that the danger right here? If you throw it?
There's only one other danger. You could hit it and score a touchdown, too. See, we're down to 37 seconds. They're going to have nobody back.
Jed Tommy into the ball game, replacing Conrad. And it's Jed Tommy, the ball carrier, up to the 45-yard line with 27 seconds remaining.
Edmonton has to call that timeout right now.
Well, they're going to have the gizmo back. The man who returned 4 punts for touchdowns one season, 2 in one game against Calgary.
And he's come pretty close tonight. I mean, he fumbled one that was a big break, but the very next one, he almost broke it again. Think they got any tricks? Think there's any tricks involved out here tonight, like a reverse or something? I think I'd try to block it. Because, the way the ball's going to come back, he hasn't gotten great snaps.
What about another safety touch? Would you do that? Not a good snap, but Baker gets the kick away. Williams having problems with the bounce, and he stopped at the 27-yard line. 17 seconds remain. McGowan and Holmes were downfield. Well, Baker has had a lot of difficulty with that snap from center tonight.
Well, it's very hard for a kicker to get his rhythm when the ball's bouncing back and rolling back. You can't really blame the kicker. But he got it away, and that's important. About 80 yards away from the end zone, 17 seconds. I like the chances.
Well, are the Ottawa Rough Riders going to record their first win of the season?
Fuck! It's been exciting. You get into these games, don't you?
17 seconds remaining. Tracy Ham is dropped for a loss. And that is Greg Stuman coming from the backside. And what a punishing hit he put on Ham. Ham is still down.
Well, you're standing there. Tracy Ham is standing there looking downfield. No way can he see Stuman coming from the top of the screen. Here he comes. He got around Blake Dermott, but watch the hit. See that head pop back and then hit the ground. And he already has that sore back.
And Stuman wrapping his arms around Ham, preventing him from throwing, putting that helmet right into the small of his back.
Oh, that defensive lineman love that. You know that? Just come up there and throw to hit that hit in the back and wrap those arms, and it's over for the quarterback.
But Tracy Ham now has to go out of the ball game.
Yeah.
And that means that Warren Jones will come in.
Wonder if he asked Coach Farragell if he wants him to win it. I mean, he's going to have 13 seconds, and he needs about 18 yards just for a first down. It's a tough situation for a kid.
Well, if you told Joe Farragell prior to this ball game that 44 points wouldn't have been enough, he'd have probably called for men in white jackets.
You know what, and I agree with him. I would have said the same. If you'd have told me we're going to see 96 points tonight, I didn't no way. And a good football game.
Well, funny things have happened in Ottawa, not only on the football field.
There's a lot of funny things going on in this city, right?
But give credit to the Eskimos. They trailed by 23 points at the half and came back to take the lead in the fourth quarter. That's Warren Jones, number 6. Now, they've got an interesting situation with the rotation of their 2 backup quarterbacks in Edmonton. Jones has dressed for the first 3 games. Steve Taylor will dress for the next 3.
See, again, they take the quarterbacks. The reason for it, Coach Farragell says they're a lot alike, except one's more talkative than the other. But he said, as far as ability, we don't know which one's best. So to be fair with him, we'll put him on the roster 3 and on the reserve list 3. Each guy gets, you see his work habits when he's going to play and everything. And now this is a tough situation to put him in. You can't really evaluate this, but we're going to get another look at the hit. There it is. Right in the back, Greg Stuman. Well, everybody knows, comes in here as the leading sacker in the league. You know he can rush the passer, and he did it, but That's a great situation for a young quarterback with Edmonton. Again, utilizing the ability to put him on the roster and maybe get him playing time.
Well, Greg Stuman had the big year in 1987 with Edmonton when he registered 23 sacks.
He's well on his way again.
Well, Tracy Ham, who has had some back problems, took another blow in the back. And a good sign for Edmonton is that he is able to get up on his own and walk off the field. But he must stay out for at least 3 plays with only 13 seconds remaining. He won't be back tonight.
He could have took his jersey off too. It wouldn't matter now.
So Warren Jones, the rookie out of the University of Hawaii, comes into the ball game.
6'2", 200 pounds. I watched him in warm-up. A nice throwing motion.
And he'll try and throw here. Can't find a receiver. Down he goes. Glenn Coco will get the sack, and that's the ball game. So the Ottawa Rough Riders register their first victory of the season, 50-46. And although Steve Goldman isn't smiling right now, I'm sure he is totally enjoying this one.
He enjoys it for a lot of reasons. One, with that stuff yesterday at the press conference about running out the score, but I don't think that's important. The important thing is they were 0-2. No one gave him a great chance facing the club like the Eskimos and to come in and beat him and score 50 points in doing it. He's got to know his team learned a big lesson tonight.
As Doug Sands, one of the assistant coaches, said to us yesterday, close isn't good enough anymore. We have to win.
That's right. And their chances coming in, no one gave much of a chance. But they showed that they are a good football team, and that's what he's the most happiest with.
And for the future of this franchise, the important thing is they came up with a highly entertaining football game. They won the game, and they had their largest crowd in some time, 26,411, watching the action. Ottawa 50, Edmonton 46.
Play next Saturday, August 4th.
Been a lot of offense in the CFL this season. 96 points scored at Lansdowne Park tonight, and the Rough Riders are delighted. They scored 50 of them to win their first of the season. The Eskimos lose their first in what would have to rank as one of the biggest upsets we've seen in quite some time in this league. The Argos go after their first win on Saturday night in Hamilton. We'll have the telecast for you at 7:30 Eastern. We want to remind you of a full weekend of horsepower coming up on Sports Weekend. Chuck wagon races from Calgary, the German Grand Prix, the Prince of Wales Stakes, and Molson Supercross at 3 Eastern on both Saturday and Sunday. Thanks for watching, and good night from Ottawa.